This guy has endured hundreds of years in this hellish world just to find a way back to Earth. The very thing that can help Minseo return home is the space orb lodged in his heart. A dragon, and now it's standing right in front of him, threatening to end his miserable life right there. You'd think a body riddled with such potent toxins wouldn't be able to do anything else, but at that crucial moment, Seo truly unleashed his power. A magic circle appeared, instantly making the dragon shake in its boots. Amidst the flashes of light, the wounds Seo had sustained were slowly healing. And this wasn't just some ordinary healing ability. With a healthy body, Seo approached the dragon and challenged it. "Are you going to take it out yourself, or should I rip your heart out? I'll give you 3 seconds. The dragon was stunned and caught off guard. Don't tell me he's not just a simple warrior. The moment he counted to 3, Seo lunged straight for its heart. Seo killed the dragons on the spot. The glowing object in his hand was the space orb. Few people know that besides being a hunter, Seo is also an incredibly powerful healer. Strong. Looking at this red orb in his hand, he sighed. After struggling for 100 years, the only thing I've got to show for it is this damn dragon pearl. The food in this world is just as hard to swallow. A strange sound emanated from within Minseo. It wasn't the dragon pearl, but the space orb. Seo replied, "Shut up, pray." Then he tossed it into his mouth. The moment the magic circle lit up, Minseo was overjoyed. Finally, I can go back. Back to my disciple. Back to my sibling. Back to Earth. Seo lay motionless. The moment. A falling leaf accidentally woke him up. As soon as he opened his eyes, Seo was startled. "Hey, you freeloader, Pry!" The space orb in his belly grumbled. "Why are you calling me a food source? I'm still busy vomiting in your stomach because of that space travel sickness." Seo thought to himself, thank goodness, glad that guy made it through safely. But his mouth still had to be snarky. "You disgusting bastard, just turn into food already." It started acting up again. "Are you sure about that? If this body digests me, the consequences will be severe." Seo felt dizzy and groaned. "Shut your mouth before I throw up again. This is Earth, right, Pry?" "Why are you being so difficult, lady? You don't even recognize your own home?" Seo found it strange, but it made sense because the scenery on Earth changes depending on the location. He felt the flow of mana. "It feels like being inside a gate here." Suddenly, Pry stopped and said, "Freeloader, you smell like a weakling." After a few seconds of shock, Seo realized the problem. "What the hell? Is there something wrong with my mana? Don't tell me." In a state of shock, Pry continued, "Were you a loser from the very beginning? I'm breaking up with you." Seo looked panicked. "Damn it, not again? It seems this is a side effect of the previous space travel. When I flew from Earth to another world 100 years ago, my power also severely declined. My current state is probably only about 15, no, maybe 20%. Pre went wild. 20%? Are you kidding me? Recover quickly before we get kicked out of here. Go." Seo understood that it wasn't that simple. Last time, it took him decades to fully recover his strength. Pry couldn't keep his cool. Decades? That's reason enough to cancel the contract. With this tiny amount of mana, I can't use most of my top-tier skills. In another development, a pink-haired girl was running for her life. Damn it, I was so busy running away that I lost all my teammates. Are they okay? Right now, she's being chased by an orc. Holding a massive club in her hand, she could only scream and think, "We're still on the lower floor. Why is an orc appearing here? Help me!" The moment she finished speaking, she fell to the ground, thinking it was the end. At that exact moment, Seo appeared and casually took out the orc. "Hey, I have a question for you. Is this Earth?" In the midst of endless confusion, the girl still had enough awareness to answer, "Yes." Seo took the opportunity to ask more. "This is South Korea, right? What year is it now?" The girl looked at Seo like he was an alien. "What?" Yes, this is South Korea. It's the year 2037. Although she answered quickly, she was still stunned. He took down an orc in one hit? Seo pondered. 2037. The moment I was sucked into another dimension was 2027. So that means 100 years in the demon world is only equivalent to 10 years on Earth. Seo asked more questions that couldn't be any dumber. "Who is the current president?" The girl sweated and replied, "It's Choi Dae-soo right now." Seo heard this and panicked, acting up Choi Dae-soo. "Don't tell me it's that muscle-brained guy with only one eye. Is it him? She thought he was just acting because he didn't know anything. CO still found it ridiculous, President? That guy is the president? Is South Korea really that short on talent? The girl was still clueless. Is this a regression plot or something? Anyway, let's put that aside. CO asked the main question. The mana flow here is very strange. Could it be that we are inside a gate? The girl smiled wryly and replied, well, this is inside the tutorial tower. CO looked very surprised. The tutorial tower? Yes, it's a place that suddenly appeared a few years ago, like a gate for hunters. If hunters can clear this place, they can awaken their abilities and even receive skills based on their rank. After awakening, they can join strong guilds, so everyone wants to clear the tower as quickly as possible. CO stroked his chin in thought. Back when I was active, I didn't need any of this stuff to awaken. Fine, whatever. The girl explained, that was back in the first generation of hunters. CO cracked his knuckles to warm up. So simply put, if I want to get out of here, I have to complete this tower, huh? Usually, how long does it take to get out? Normally 8 weeks. If you're excellent, at least 6 weeks. The record is 3 weeks set by the second-generation genius hunter Ryuji Hwan set. While Seo was sighing and pondering the information he just received, a tiger crept up from somewhere. As soon as she saw it, the girl panicked and said, run, while Seo remained with his eyes closed. 3 weeks, huh? 3 weeks is a bit long. Due to the side effects of space travel, my mana flow and body movements have both slowed down. Don't see much. Time left, you know. The girl shouted. Hey, sorry, but what are you thinking? Didn't the academy teach you that if you encounter a tiger, you should run immediately? The moment it was roaring to attack, Minseo was still very nonchalant. There's no other way. I'll set a more comfortable deadline for myself, 5 days then. That should be enough. Before the tiger could even attack, Seo did something that made it vanish instantly. Scene change. This young man wearing glasses is the president of the Empire Guild, Min Seojun. Receiving news that someone had just left the tower, the guide was quite surprised. Oh, if I recall correctly, it's only been about 6 weeks since they entered, right? Not bad. The female staff member started to break. A cold sweat as she reported, but this person wasn't part of the original group. So which batch were they from? Well, they weren't on the entry list and are currently causing a scene. The moment she caught sight of the profile picture, Sejun froze, realizing it was his own brother. As for the girl who was with Seo, she still couldn't believe her eyes. What the hell is going on? He cleared the tutorial tower in just 5 days. After cleaning up, Seo muttered to himself, well, that definitely helped me recover faster. Feels like my strength is back to about 25%. Then the system chimed in. Tutorial complete. Calculating stats and analyzing skill compatibility. Measurement impossible. Portal opening. The moment he stepped out, outside, Seo felt overwhelmed. He was finally back in Seoul. The girl with him managed to tag along. Hey, wait! Let me out too! This place was on the other side of the portal outside the tutorial tower where Seo was standing, and it was incredibly noisy. A group of people approached from somewhere. Why is it so loud here? The guy next to him replied, the gate just opened, but it seems like there's some trouble. The man with the armband on his sleeve spotted the girl. He froze, seeing the two of them. Oh, I think I saw that pretty girl on the registry list. He decided to get closer. What's this? The manager took one look and greeted him. Ah, captain of the second squad. You're here. The thing is, these two just walked out of the portal, but that guy over there isn't on the registration list at all. The second squad captain looked Seo up and down, feeling suspicious. A guy claiming to have cleared the tower without a single scratch on him? That sounds a bit absurd, doesn't it? And just look at that insolent gaze of his. Look at him, he looks like a starving parasite. Must have picked up some decent skill, huh? He decided to step in. Move aside, let me handle this. He then growled bluntly at Seo. Who the hell are you? How come you're not on the list? Seo calmly replied. Because I didn't come in through the entrance. The second squad captain snapped. If I go in through my mouth, obviously I'm going to come out a different way. Which entrance did you come in from? Why are you coming out through that side? Seo didn't know how to answer, so he said, it just happened. How should I know? The guy cracked his neck and sneered, ha, this guy, looking down on your seniors, huh? Hey kid, I can tell just by looking that you've awakened some kind of stealth skill. So you're playing tricks, huh? If you don't want to kick the bucket, cut it out right now, you hear me? CO kept a blank expression, which only infuriated him. What's with that look on your face? I'm warning you to stop or I'll tear that arrogant face of yours right off. CO flashed a smile, a faint look of contempt, then replied, Shut your mouth, you reek. The second squad captain was stunned. What? You bastard, you've lost your mind. Ah. CO lightly cracked his neck. What was that about tearing my face off? Keep your mouth shut and start fighting. Try breathing a little less. The smell is horrendous. Provoked to the point of spitting blood, he screamed and threw a punch. CO remained very relaxed. Oh, I told you to shut your mouth, but you just wouldn't listen. The moment the Imperial Guildmaster, Min Se-jun, and the staff arrived, the group was already lying motionless. The female staff member asked in a panic, What the hell is going on? Well, actually, the person we reported for causing a disturbance, he fought the guards and then vanished. The Guildmaster turned back and asked, Is there any footage recording his image? Immediately, they reviewed the footage. They saw that in just a few seconds, the guy in the video had taken down 5 hunters and disappeared. Boss, regarding why he didn't appear on screen, they were suspicious. Is this a hunter with a stealth skill? The Guildmaster stated firmly, No, he just moves too fast. While everyone was still, trying to understand what he meant, he kept whispering to himself, CO, I'm sure it's him. He looks exactly the same as he did 10 years ago, keeping the information to himself. I know. The Guildmaster shouted, Issue a wanted notice now. Mobilize all Imperial members to find him. Absolutely no reckless moves. Just bring him here, that's all. The moment he turned away, his mind wouldn't stop thinking about his brother. Brother, where on earth have you been all this time? Why are you appearing only now? Kidnapped? Ran away? There has to be a reason. If you are still in Korea, you definitely would have come to find me. If so, in this situation, where would you go first? Right after that, Se-jun went to find the girl who was with CO. Ah, you are one of his people who just walked out of the tutorial tower this time, right? She confidently replied, Yes, that's right. But to be honest, I didn't do anything. Someone else brought us all out. Regardless, we have awakened and came out together. I see. You came out earlier than expected. You must have gotten a pretty good skill. The girl scratched her head shyly. I'm not sure if it's any good, but at least it's an A-rank skill. The young man heard this and broke into a bright smile. A-rank, you say? Even though there hasn't been a final evaluation yet, it's best to recruit her first. Then Min Se-jun spoke up. We will offer the best contract terms possible. Are you interested in joining the Imperial? The moment she heard that, her eyes lit up. The Imperial? Really? If that's a genuine invitation, it would be a huge honor. Along with the S-rank hunter family, Ji-hwan from the Diamond Guild suddenly appeared behind them and taunted, The guild name is Imperial, but you act just like a gang. Se-jun looked annoyed. You should be careful with your words, Ji-hwan. He continued his jibes. Oh my, looks like I offended you? You're way too sensitive. Walking beside Ji-hwan was Choi Sung-in, an S-rank hunter and leader of the Wildlands Guild. Looks like you got here before me. I'm sure everyone received the notice from the association. The entire security team was wiped out. Is that the unlisted awakener that the association mentioned? Ji-hwan, after looking it over, smiled sinisterly. This guy is really noisy, isn't he? Causing a scene the moment he walked out. Choi Sung-in spoke up. I don't know who he is, but we'd better find him fast. Given his power, it seems he's awakened a high-level skill. That means he has the potential to become a key asset. Honestly, I think he's extremely valuable. Ji-hwan looked excited and hyped. So whoever finds him first gets to keep him, all right? And if our methods happen to be a bit unconventional, I'm sure no one will mind. Who would complain, right? Min Se-jun looked annoyed after hearing that, but didn't say anything. Cho Sung-in finished. Well then, I'll go find him myself. No, which one of us has time to waste? If you find this awakened one, at least we should report back to each other. Cho Sung-in turned to the girl standing next to Se-jun. What about you? Here's my business card. Take your time to think it over. With an awakening rank like yours, you'd be welcomed anywhere. Ji-hwan waved as he left. It's up to you. I'll let you know if I find him. As soon as he got outside, Ji-hwan gave his orders. Jinx, gather all the C and D rank members of Diamond into squads and deploy immediately. We need to find someone. Jinx asked curiously. Who? Ji-hwan smirked. Min Se-jun, that damn bloodline of his. The scene shifts to another location, where the savory scent of fried chicken wafts through the air. Pry complained, having just returned to Earth. "After 100 years, the first place you drag me to is just a fried chicken joint." Sho took a deep, satisfied breath. "Just try it," he replied, "and you'll understand why I rushed here like a starving dog." After taking a bite, Pry was stunned and shrieked, "What the hell is this? I've wasted my whole life. What is it? Is this fried chicken made from dragon gold heritage or something? How can it be this delicious? How did you survive 100 years in the demon world without this? Are you a psychopath?" Seo stuffed his mouth, enjoying every bite. "I'm currently recovering my humanity, so shut up!" Pry shouted. "All right, fine. Give me more. Don't you dare eat it all by yourself. The rest is mine." After eating his fill, Seo decided to return to his dear old home. The house looked messy. It was his home. As soon as he opened the gate and stepped inside, familiar sounds and illusions appeared. "Seo, are you home? You're back. Ah, you're a bit late today, aren't you? Are you hungry? Mom's calling Sejun to come eat." Then images of the two happy brothers running in to hug their parents appeared. The kitchen filled with the fragrant scent of soybean paste soup. Soybean. But returning to reality, everything was in ruins. That warm space was now just a memory. Cobwebs covered the house and bottles were scattered everywhere. Seo couldn't say a word, sitting out on the porch, dazed. Just as I expected, I can't even remember my parents' faces anymore. People say forgetting is a gift from the gods, but to me it's a curse. 100 years. In the demon world, endless battles on a strange planet soaked in blood. My human senses gradually went numb, a body frozen in place. Time. A sense of self slowly fading. During those terrifyingly long years, I clung to my memories desperately, afraid that the curse of oblivion would swallow me whole. My memories of my younger brother, memories of my disciples. And then those memories were no longer just recollections. They turned into obsessions and regrets. But it's okay, because of that, I survived for 100 years. Pri jumped in again, criticizing, "You look pretty lonely, don't you?" Honestly, the place we stayed in the demon world felt warmer than this. Seo countered with an excuse. "They don't have fried chicken there." Pry, hearing about his favorite dish, was swayed. Logic-wise, that was true. Regaining his spirits, Seo looked refreshed again. "I just intended to stop by and take a look. It's time to find the others. I don't know how they've lived over the past 10 years. I hope Sejun is still doing okay." As soon as he stepped out of the gate, Seo was surrounded. They were all armed. From the rooftop, a voice boomed, "Found you. Damn it, finding you was a total nightmare. Nice to meet you, I guess. You're the one who caused a scene at the upper exit, right? I'm Ben Hackmoon, a C-rank hunter from Diamond. Do you have any idea how hard we had to look for you?" Seo acted like he didn't care at all, replying coldly, "Yeah, and? Do you want me to comfort you or something?" Hackmoon sat there arrogantly, spreading his legs. "Hey, are you listening to me? We're from Diamond. Let me repeat that, Diamond." Seo sighed. Diamond or whatever the hell else, I couldn't care less. "Anyway, just spit out what you want." Hackmoon blustered. "Want? Ha! This guy still doesn't get the situation, does he? Want me to teach you how to crawl instead of walk?" The hunter world is all turned upside down now. Seo put his hands in his pockets and smirked. "I think walking on all fours would suit your ugly monkey face better. These days, even a gorilla can become a hunter? This world must be in a great state." Hackmoon was furious. "This bastard is beyond saving. Take him out first. Then we can just drag him away." As soon as he finished speaking, he activated his power and lunged at Seo. Seo just glanced back and let him attack, letting his own body crash hard into the wall. Hackmoon, thinking he'd scored an easy win, laughed. "Who did you call a gorilla, you brat?" Hackmoon's lackeys stood by, showering him with praise. "Are you all right, boss? You took him down before he could even get his hands out of his pockets. Keep going, boss, ha-ha." Seo just lay there. In front of him, a notification appeared. C-rank lightning skill. Increases movement speed by over double for a short duration. If the body and stamina can handle it, one can move even faster. Seo asked Pry if he wanted to try it out. Getting the go-ahead, "This is the first skill I've absorbed since returning to Earth. I want to taste it." With that, Seo sprang up with godly speed, instantly overtaking Hackmoon, leaving him confused about what was happening. The moment he was slammed head-first into the ground by Seo, the others turned pale, too scared to move. Seo began the chant, "Eat, predator." A magic circle appeared and began to glow, sucking away all the strength and skills of Hackmoon. Seo was quite surprised. He didn't think it would still work on Earth. Pry clicked his tongue. Stealing skills is cool and all, but it's not as tasty as fried chicken. Hackmoon's lackeys watched the scene, angrily shouting, "What are you standing there for? Attack him now!" Seo yelled, "Pry, try out the skill we just stole!" While those people swarmed in from all sides, Pry followed orders and shouted, "Copy!" As a butcher with super speed and a new top-tier skill, in just a blink of an eye, Seo swept through almost all of them. One guy charged in and ended up getting wiped out too. A notification popped up. C-rank precision strike. When activated, the body will automatically react to strike the opponent's weak points. More effective when using handheld weapons. Seo sighed. The blade is dull. If you're a swordsman, you should at least keep your weapon sharp. I'll take this one. Just as he finished, he lunged for a series of attacks, but someone blocked him and shouted, "Brother!" At that moment, before the blade could pierce the opponent's throat, Seo stopped dead in his tracks. His beloved younger brother was standing right behind him, even calling his name. Seo. Seo slowly started to smile. Say June 20 years ago, when the gate opened on Earth. Standing there, frozen, his beloved younger brother was standing right behind him, even calling his name. Seo. Seo slowly broke into a smile. Sejun, 20 years ago when the gate opened on Apuli. The world was peaceful, but chaos erupted in an instant. Monsters poured out of portals, and at the same time, the first individuals awakened their powers. It was a lawless, savage era. There were no laws or policies to control the situation, and everyone was just a novice. Who knew what to do in such a chaotic world? Sejun and Seo, siblings who lost their parents early, were forced to find a way to survive. Seo, one of the first-generation awakeners, dropped out of school. He became a hunter, solely to support his younger brother. He was just a tiny kid back then. "Brother, aren't you going to school today?" "I won't be going to school anymore. I'm working now." "Because of me?" "No. Nah, I'm just not good at studying, so I decided on my career path early." At the moment of their goodbye, Seo said, "Don't worry. I'll be back soon." That was the moment the two brothers parted ways for 10 years. Back to the present, Seo is stepping into the house named after his brother. Whoa, this place is really nice. Looking at the furniture and every corner, he couldn't help but be amazed. Holy crap, is this the Han River? You bought all this yourself without borrowing a single cent? Min Si-jun, you've really done it. Seeing his brother like this, Si-jun felt helpless. It's not a big deal. Besides, it's thanks to the skills you taught me that I could earn this money. I bought this place, so we could live together. There's a room for you too. The reason Si-jun still looked stunned was that he couldn't believe it was real, and he kept questioning himself. The feeling didn't feel real at all. Was it really his brother? The person he couldn't find, no matter how hard he tried, suddenly appearing after 10 years? Even so, Seo was extremely excited and thrilled. There was even a private room for his brother, and he looked so happy now. It was just so many surprises at once. "But it looks like you've been through a lot, Min Si-jun." After a few seconds of pause, Si-jun's face slowly flushed, and his first smile appeared. "The one who really worked hard was you, brother." See, his brother was still joking around. This was definitely his brother. "But brother, do you know how long I've been looking for you? Where on earth have you been all this time?" Seo walked over to his brother and ruffled his hair. "Sit down. I've got 100 years' worth of stories to tell." With a few beers and bags of snacks, Seo gradually told his story, and Si-jun listened intently. To summarize, 10 years ago, the moment he defeated the fourth Demon Lord, he was transported to another dimension due to an artifact the Demon Lord possessed. In that world, he met a creature called a Predator, a creature that could steal the skills of others. He grew stronger using that ability for 100 years, fighting while searching for a dragon that possessed space magic, until he finally encountered the Dragon King. "You defeated the Dragon King and used the space orb in its heart to return to Earth, right?" Seo explained, resting his chin on his hand. "Ah, the Predator followed me back to Earth, and now it's inside my body." Sejun was shocked, his face turning pale. "Inside your body? You mean you're possessed?" Seo explained that it was more like a parasite. Si-jun panicked. Hey, do you want to cough up blood or something? Seeing Si-jun scared, Seo reassured him, Don't be so serious. I know it sounds like something out of fiction, but just remember that your brother isn't crazy and that's enough. Si-jun, though sweating, tried to reply, Of course I believe you because you're the one saying it. Besides, we're already living in a world where these things are no longer absurd. It's just hard to imagine right away. Anyway, you're back and that's enough. Seo asked, Right, now it's your turn. I want to know what the hell happened to this country in the last 10 years that allowed that bastard to become president? Si-jun slowly recounted. After you disappeared, Choi Dae-soo took all the credit. He defeated the fourth demon lord, climbed to the presidency with the title of God of War and greatest first-generation hunter, and used his fake reputation to win public support. And yet, he still keeps introducing policies that are detrimental to our team. Seo crossed his arms, feeling frustrated. His intentions are so obvious. The only SS rank hunter in Korea? Sounds like a total joke. By the way, the guys who attacked us earlier, the ones calling themselves Diamond, are they Dae-soo's lackeys? No. Choi Dae-soo's guild is the Infinite Legion. Currently, there are 7 major hunter guilds in Korea, collectively called the 7 Stars. Diamond is the guild of Ryu Ji-won, a second-generation hunter. That snake-like bastard. As for today, let me handle it, don't worry about it. Seeing the bitterness in Si-jun, Seo was very surprised. He never expected his little brother to be this tough after 10 years. Seo wondered, Oh, and what about your old disciples? Si-jun hesitated. We've all gone our separate ways. It's been a long time since any of us were in touch. Xiaolong went back home and Kang Yawa joined the FE Guild. Choi Dae-soo, Seo mused. That's a bit surprising, right? What about Min-jun? Hearing the news, Seo felt like he'd been struck by lightning. He was murdered. Seo's voice dropped. He passed away? Who did it? Si-jun reported. His body vanished, so we couldn't identify the culprit. The only ones capable of eliminating a hunter like that are other hunters or unregistered awakeners. At the time, the SMCS stepped in to investigate, but they couldn't find any leads. Seo slammed his hand on the table, looking a bit stunned. What is that, SMCS? SMCS is the Hunter Management and Control Station, an international organization dedicated to handling cases involving hunters. They have full authority to investigate and arrest awakened criminals globally. Put simply, they're the police of the hunter world. Seo asked, Do you have any connections there? Si-jun wondered what his brother was planning. I do, but brother... Are you seriously planning to go there? If you need better information, you should use our guild's intelligence unit. That place is very harsh. You shouldn't go without a good reason. Seo remained insistent. It's fine. I need more than just information. Si-jun looked worried. Brother, hunters are combatants, but the work there is mostly dealing with life or death cases. You just returned. Don't rush it. Take some time to rest and get your combat instincts back. Seo replied while clicking his mouse. Brother, fought for 100 years in another world. Do you think there's anything I haven't done yet? Si-jun stopped, almost forgetting Seo's reputation. Well, if you've already decided, there's no stopping you. Fine. If you've decided, Lee Eeg from the Korean Soul Guild is a high-ranking official there. I'll contact her. Seo gave a gentle smile. Thanks, little brother. Even so, though, Si-jun still felt uneasy. Brother, your face is the same, but your aura is completely different. Just what happened in that other world? What happened to you? Can you even scroll on your computer? A moment later, Min-seo realized, wait, is this someone I know? I feel like I've seen this face before. Let me see Hwang Jong-gu, leader of the SMCS gangbook team, a Generation 1.5 hunter. Do you know him? Oh, Min-seo said, looking blank. Jong-gu? Who? Exactly. This jerk, his name is... Scene transition. 2 days later at SMCS headquarters in the gangbook team office. Damn it, the second-gen hunters nowadays management just dumped a fresh trainee on us. My team, no wonder they call them the incubator generation. Their brains are nothing but mush. The staff member listened, speechless. He cursed under his breath, but could only respond with, Yes, sir. The gangbook team leader was still at it, screaming at the top of his lungs, Damn it, kids these days. Back then, the hunter world was lawless. We had to write our wills every time we went on a mission. You get it? Did I tell you about the time I almost kicked the bucket during a raid 10 years ago? The staff member looked exhausted, thinking to himself, That's 770, 8 times already, but he just replied, "Yes, sir, I've heard it." Jong-gu was still running his mouth, but hearing it again didn't hurt. When I was a rookie, I took a fatal wound during a mission. My squad had lost almost all their combat strength, and we were all falling into despair. Just then, a healer with extraordinary power appeared. He used a skill called "to save me" and said... Before he could finish his sentence, Min-seo had already appeared out of nowhere. Then he called out loudly, "Min-seo, why'd you change your name? The old one was better. You're confusing me now. You still remember me, right? I'm your lifesaver." After flashing a confident smile, Jong-gu froze completely. He didn't expect to mention the devil and have the devil appear right away. What is going on? Is that Hunter Min-seo? While drowning in his confusion, which felt endless, Jong-gu awkwardly introduced him. "Ahem, this is our newest member joining the gangbook team, Hunter Min-seo. Since he's a rookie, there will be a lot of things he's not used to. With this place, if he needs any information, please provide it immediately. We're his seniors, so we have to treat the newbie well." The blue-haired girl looked confused. "Wait, doesn't that contradict what you just said? Team leader Jong-gu is acting so weird today." The guy standing next to him was sweating, not daring to speak up. "Keep it down." Looking at the leader's reaction right now, it seems like he's not a normal rookie. Seeing them whispering, Jong-gu pointed directly at Kim Seong-ah, making the girl jump. Jong-gu kept shouting, "Follow me into the conference room! Right now! We need to give the newcomer a short briefing." When they reached the meeting room, Seong-ah was sweating as she tried to relay info to Min-seo, while Jong-gu was fumbling around, grabbing this and that. "Hunter Min-seo, would you like some coffee? Instant or Americano?" Min-seo crossed his arms and answered just like a boss. "Instant." "Coming!" Jong-gu continued with full enthusiasm. "This is the SMCS field uniform. What size are you?" After a while, Seong-ah raised her hand. Team leader. Although it's a summary, I haven't received any documents yet. To prepare everything, I need to explain to him. To him. Seeing their confusion, Min-seo suggested, "Summarize all the data on hunters who have been murdered in the past 20 years and give it to me." Seong-ah was shocked. 20 years of data is a massive amount. Plus, we have to report it to the Hunter Association. No one dared to oppose Min-seo's words. Jong-gu barked back, "Hey, don't make excuses. You've worked here long enough to handle this." Then Jong-gu brought the coffee tray to Min-seo and said softly, "Don't worry, Hunter Min-seo. Our data manager is extremely efficient." Seong-ah felt a throbbing headache, wondering if someone had replaced her leader's soul. After scouring through the data with tired eyes, Seong-ah asked Min-seo, "Mr. Newbie, regarding the ones who were eliminated, you only want information on the victims, right?" Min-seo sipped his coffee and replied, "Only cases officially recognized by SMCS as murders. Also, I need a list of the killers of those hunters who have not been identified yet." Min-seo squeezed the coffee cup, thinking, murdering an awakened is nearly impossible unless the attacker is also an awakened. Furthermore, if someone could kill Min-jun, a high-level hunter, they must be a professional. Even if the culprit was caught or is dead, if they are an awakened, the association must have a file. For now, the priority is to find their identities. After a while, Seong-ah asked, "Where should I send the info?" Min-seo held out his phone. "Send it to my phone first." Suddenly, a guy peeked through the door. "Team leader, do you have a moment? The police are asking for support. A territory dispute has broken out between gangs that have awakened members." Jong-gu glanced over and replied, "Can't the police handle that themselves? They're just low-level Zuko thugs. But team leader, the problem is that one of them is Cerberus." At that, Jong-gu jumped. "What? Those bastards again?" Min-seo was still blank, not knowing what Cerberus was. Seong-ah explained, "They are completely different from normal gangs. They specialize in weapon trafficking and contract killing. There are even rumors of them trafficking hunters. It's hard for the police to deal with them alone." Hearing about hunter trafficking made Min-seo curious, and he offered to go along. Min-seo hurried to put on his jacket, but Jong-gu stopped him. "Even if you're a rookie, you should at least complete a training course first." Meanwhile, elsewhere, where victims lay scattered, Kang-ho, the deputy leader of Cerberus, laughed loudly. The elite forces of the Death Squad are nothing, right? Compared to Cerberus, they're nothing at all. G. Ken, a third-rank leader of Cerberus, chimed in. Hey, Brother Kang-ho, that's not fair. Half of them were from my meat cleaver blade. They bantered back and forth. G. Ken added, Oh yeah? Then try and beat me. Riken replied, Ha! Just you wait. One day I'll surpass you. Kang-ho was arrogant. Haha, without me, how would you guys even survive? Luckily, I quit being a hunter to join this organization. Our boss really has an eye for talent. Then he declared, From today on, this place belongs to Cerberus. They hadn't been celebrating for long when a huge explosion went off, catching them off guard and wounding them. G-Ken looked bewildered. What was that? Is there still a warrior left? Wearing an SMCS-labeled jacket, Sue slowly appeared. Hey, listening to you talk, it sounds like you've murdered hunters before, right? Hearing this. Kang-ho flinched, while Mincio prepared to go all out on him. Try it on me, then. Vague visions played out around Kang-ho, all his fallen teammates. How is he still fine? I've never seen this face in Gangbook before. More importantly, what kind of idiot came in here all by himself? Surrounded by the sounds of his teammates, Kang-ho felt lost. This is disorienting. I swear I just heard the sound of a skull crushing. Kang-ho shouted defiantly, What are you waiting for? If he wants a show, give him one! Then he activated his power. B-rank full-body armor skill. Once activated, it creates an invisible shield covering the entire body. The duration depends on the caster's mana, boosting physical defense by 30% and magical defense by 10%. All the others rushed forward to attack Seo at once, but in an instant, everything went pitch black. Kang-ho dazed, huh? What just happened? I was just fighting. Wait, who's that standing by the river? Grandfather? Are you calling me over or telling me to stay back? Back in reality, he was being beaten to a pulp by Seo. Not stopping there, he grabbed him by the collar and lifted him up. Come on, get up. It's just you left now. Eat up, predator. After hearing that, Free began to savor it with delight. Whoa, this skill tastes so good it feels so satisfying. Gasping for air, Kang-ho looked at everything blurry and suddenly pointed at someone. You wiped us all out? Why? What do you want from us? We don't know anything. We never killed any hunters, we're just pawns. Seo smiled brightly but with a sinister edge. I know small fries like you don't have the guts to do that. Kang-ho struggled to ask in a weak voice. Then why? Seo stood up and brushed off his hands. I just wanted to test the strength of today's awakened criminals. You guys looked like a nuisance, so I just took care of you while I was at it. Just then, Jong-gu ran over. Hunter Mincio, are you okay? The entire upper floor of the club has been secured. I was so worried since you insisted on going in alone. Seo leaned against the wall, acting nonchalant. Oh, you guys are done? That took a while. I kept one of the leaders alive just in case we need to extract information. I wiped out the rest. Is that good enough? Looking at the chaotic pile of bloody bodies, Jong-gu was speechless. In principle, capturing them is the priority, but self-defense when attacked is valid. Since SMCS operates under international law, they follow standard procedures, and agents must wear body cameras for evidence. Jong-gu tried to explain, but he was deeply troubled inside. It's true they were brutal enough to be taken out immediately, but he wiped them all out? Seo, with that blank face? He's known as a mad dog, but since when was he this ruthless? Seo scratched his head, acting completely innocent. Oh, body cameras? I forgot. But look, I'm still a trainee. You'll cover for me, right, Jong-woo? With no other choice, he could only weep inside and reply, yes. After sending people to clean up the battlefield, Seo continued to explain, but they really did attack me first. Do you see the blood on my clothes? Of course, I believe you. He said he believed him, but Jong-gu knew perfectly well it was someone else's blood. There was still one guy left hiding under the table. Calling his superior to report, I'm telling the truth. Seo just wiped everyone out, I'm serious. And the third-tier leader Zekin, the one you told me to track, is dead. On the other end of the line, Hong Kong A-rank hunter Pang Hu-chi asked again, Say that again. Who died? Scene change. Hunter Goth appeared aggressively with two others. In front of them was a group of men in black. Hunter Goth from Hong Kong's Red Association had just entered the country. We will escort you to the designated location. A gray-haired hunter bowed his head. May the deceased rest in peace, Hunter Goth. I am Lee Jun-young from the Korean Hunter Association. Goth asked with a serious expression, Where is my brother? Jun Young replied, the body of the suspect Giken is currently at the forensics lab. Hunter Goth, you will come with us to identify the body, complete the necessary procedures, and then be taken to the designated accommodation. Goth smiled sinisterly. Ha ha, a suspect? Giken, I heard the one who murdered my brother has ties to SMCS. Jun Young replied sternly, I cannot answer any questions regarding that matter. Goth glared and continued, am I allowed to leave the accommodation outside of the schedule? No, you must remain at the accommodation until the scheduled departure day. If you leave without permission according to international hunter law, you will be forcibly deported along with appropriate penalties. So now, we will take you to the forensic lab. Goth looked extremely annoyed. So I just get to burn some incense and leave? He then ordered, Ryu, Ian is looking for him. Just wait, you bastard who killed my brother. I will rip your heart out while you're still alive. Scene change. Seo and Sejun are talking. Did they take everything in the house? Yes, 2 days after Minjun was assassinated, the house was completely ransacked. A hunter's mana is like a fingerprint, revealing their attribute code and rank, right? The investigators at the time assumed the culprit had taken everything and erased all traces. Since Minjun was an archaeologist, the house was full of important research documents. In reality, there wasn't a single object left containing his mana. Seo hesitated. Could the real culprit have done it? Or couldn't it just be a random burglary? If you look at the list of stolen items, most are valuable. And with this level of mess, the chances of leaving traces should be higher, right? If the goal was really to erase the mana signature, burning the whole house down would be much more effective. Sejun was a bit startled by Seo's analysis. Are you saying someone took advantage of the empty house after Minjun was assassinated? Seo sighed. I looked back through the SMCS criminal records. There are more similar cases than you'd think. Looks like we need to ask around some contacts. Sejun felt it was absurd. What? Even if the process of fencing stolen goods takes time, it's been years. There's no way any of Minjun's stuff is still out there. Seo gave a confident smile. How do you know if you haven't checked? See you tonight. He was so confident back then, but now he was completely stuck. Even he couldn't understand what he was so boldly claiming. But why does this tiny country have so many thieves? It's been a week and I haven't found a thing. Here, Seo was following Pre's advice to investigate. Pre was excited. The hunter has good intuition. Trust this big brother. I will guide you to the right path. Now go right. Seo heard this and was fuming. You told me to go into a dead end, you idiot. While he was losing his mind, Seo was startled by a noise. Someone was whispering nearby. He immediately went to check it out. Have you heard the recent rumors? SMCS is cracking down on fences very strictly. Just yesterday, the entire Yongdongpo area was wiped clean. The old man next to him puffed on his cigarette, looking worried. What, seriously? Without a search warrant or any report? I looked back through the SMCS criminal records. There are more similar cases than you'd think. It seems we need to check in with a few connections. Seo felt it was absurd. What? Even if the process of fencing stolen goods takes time, it's been years. There's no way that any of Minjun's items are still out there. Seo gave a confident smile. How would you know if we haven't checked? See you tonight. He was so confident back then, but now he was completely stumped. He couldn't even understand what he was so boldly claiming. But how can this tiny country have so many thieves? It's been a week and we haven't found anything. Come in. Seo was following Pre's lead to investigate. Pre was excited, a hunter with good intuition. Trust this, brother. I'll show you the way. Right for you. Now go right. Seo was fuming. You sent me into a dead end, you idiot! While he was losing his mind, Seo was startled by a sound. Hearing some noise, someone was whispering nearby. He immediately went to check. Have you heard the rumors? SMCS is cracking down on fences very strictly. The entire Yongdongpo district was wiped out just yesterday. The old guy next to me puffed on his cigarette, looking anxious. What do you mean, serious? Don't they need a search warrant or a report or something? The skinny guy beside him panicked and continued. It's the SMCS, boss. They have full authority to investigate hunters worldwide and the power to execute awakened criminals on the spot. If you resist them, you're not going to jail. You're losing your life. The boss flared up. But aren't they just the government's attack dogs? We can just take them out, right? The skinny guy replied, sure, but high-level hunters would rather join a guild. The pay is clearly way better. That's why groups like the SMCS don't have any elite hunters. But the person hunting down this smuggling ring right now isn't some nameless maniac. We specialize in handling stolen hunter goods. Maybe we should move the warehouse. Seo stopped eavesdropping and stepped out, asking directly, "So where is that warehouse?" The two men jumped and turned around. Seo pointed a finger. "Your warehouse has been confiscated, by the way." Seeing Seo, the skinny guy broke into a cold sweat. "I think that's him." "Yeah, that SMCS bastard wiped out all the smuggling rings." The boss immediately pulled out his phone and barked orders. "Get to Sector 2 immediately. Emergency situation." Seo stood with his hands on his hips, still demanding answers. "Where is the warehouse?" "I'm busy, so unless you want to die, talk fast. We're running out of time." The boss shoved the skinny guy forward. "Damn it, Han Sen. Take care of this punk." Han Sen was sweating bullets. "But I'm not a combat type." Just then, a group of people ran up. "Boss, what's going on? Who is this? Nobody? Why is there some imposter here?" The boss raised an eyebrow, trying to intimidate Seo. "Haha, does this idiot even know where he stepped into? Even if it is the SMCS, go ahead. Bury him in concrete and toss him in the sea. No one will ever find him." Seo kept his cool, not even turning his head to look at them. Stuffed his hands into his pockets. "Oh, you're all gathering up to help me out? How thoughtful. How cute. Priya, it's been a while since you used your skills, right? Want to try?" Green was excited. One skill, one fried chicken piece. The circle around Seo glowed brightly. He activated a massive electromagnetic wave. In an instant, the guys were plunged into an endless plane, getting zapped by lightning. After giving them a taste, he asked them again, "Are you ready to show me the warehouse now?" Hansen lifted his head, tears streaming. "Who the hell are you, anyway?" Seo smirked. "I am a lunatic. This was their warehouse, and Seo was tying up all the scumbags." Priya spoke up. "See? This is my side." Seo replied, "Don't make me laugh. You just got lucky." Seo was holding a book. It looked like the mana source he was searching for, but Priya kept whining, "It smells like a nerd's room." Seo laughed and replied, "True. I realized it immediately. At least one thing was left intact. This book was Minjun's research journal, and it had a protective seal on it, not some standard lock. Usually a spell only opens with the owner's mana." Priya jumped in again. "This book won't open. Can you read it?" Seo answered, "Doesn't matter. What I need isn't the book, but the mana inside it." Immediately after, he called Zonggu. "It's me. I've got a dozen awakened criminals tied up here. Come clean them up. And bring a truck, too. We have somewhere else to go. A neutral zone where dark arts and bizarre powers are traded. The black market of the Dark Hunter world. Cheon Rak." A woman was flipping cards and smiling. "Oh, looks like an interesting guest is about to pay a visit." She was the great Archmage Mumyong, one of the 12 leaders of the Black Cheon Rak. Elsewhere, Seo was looking around. Compared to 10 years ago, nothing had changed much. In Seo's mind, Priya's voice echoed, "You are pretty famous. Everyone is staring at you. Their powers look pretty formidable, actually. Should I drain one of them? Eat up." Two men in the distance stopped and stared at him. Seo lazily narrowed his eyes. "No, this is a neutral zone. Causing trouble here is a hassle." She leaned her hand on the long cabinet. "Long time no see, right?" The other hand of the great Archmage Mumyong rested on her chest, gracefully inviting him. "I've waited a long time for you. Come in." Books were scattered on a cabinet next to a box. It was locked tight, and a cushion had been laid out carefully on the floor. Mumyong sat across from Seo and spoke. "It's been 10 years. Why haven't you changed at all?" Seo lowered his eyes. Same as always, the nameless one. She propped her chin on her hand and beamed a bright smile. "So, you didn't contact me for 10 years. What have you been up to?" Seo handed Mumyong a book. "It's locked. It's a long story, nothing interesting to tell. Instead, I want you to extract the mana from this." She stroked her chin, intrigued. "You're as straightforward as ever." "Fine, then. This is something I'm interested in, too." Mumyong reached out toward the elegant silver cup on the table. "Do you still remember how to do it?" Seo took a knife to his own palm. Blood gushed from his hand. Mana is used through skills or spells, and once transformed, it's nearly impossible to return it to its original, initial state. The cup in the center of the table was already half filled with Seo's blood. "Think of a completed spell like a bowl of curry," Mumyong said, lifting the silver cup. She took a sip. You can pick solid things like carrots or potatoes out of cooked curry, but you can't separate the dissolved curry powder from the water and other ingredients back to their original form. Yet this impossible feat became reality thanks to the woman known as the Nameless One. With her mana hacker skill, she looked at the book in her hand, an illegal medium, a power that defied causality, a force that went against the laws of nature. Beneath the book, a small magic circle appeared. Powers like this are usually associated with criminals. The great archmage Mumyung closed her eyes, holding a knife to her own wrist. That's why society always looks at them with suspicion. Her face flushed with excitement. All right, finished. The fresh blood is purer than ever. It feels like life is dancing on my tongue. Priya jumped in Sio's head again. Her skills are so bizarre. They definitely wouldn't suit me at all. Sio pulled her wrist away, causing a faint spark of magic to glide across. Thanks for the compliment. Consider this one on the house. Mumyung stroked her chin, watching Sio's back. Leaving already? The young man holding the small vial replied, I have work to do. I'll be back next time. Mumyung crossed her arms, evaluating him. What a mysterious guy. At the traffic light on the highway, Priya's voice trembled. That place gives me goosebumps. I never want to go back. There again. The street was now completely deserted. Not a soul in sight. Sio rested one arm on the window frame, driving with the other. Priya, you're being difficult today, Green retorted. You and that woman are both total deviants. Perverts. Sio closed his eyes, speaking nonchalantly. What are you talking about? I just made a small cut on my hand. Priya asked wearily, where to next? Now? I just want to go home. Sio drove the car silently past each street. He said, the Institute of Ancient History. Sio stood in front of the massive Institute of Ancient History. That's where Minjun was murdered. Sio pushed the heavy wooden door open and stepped in. Priya's voice was flustered. Sio, now that you've got power, you're just barging into everywhere? That's trespassing. Sio, relax. Don't worry. This building belongs to the Imperial Guild. It's a good thing Sai Jun bought and preserved this place early on. His eyes drifted forward, showing a look of shock. I'm not the only one muttering when I see the illusions of so many people laughing and talking ahead. I'm still struggling to come to terms with Minjun's death. He slammed his hand down on the table. I need to see the memories of that day. Sio knelt down, placing his hand on the tiled floor. He stared intensely at Bree when he heard its question. You're real. Are you planning on using that? A magic circle expanded from his hand, forming a large ring. The system displayed the recorded mana. Mystery rank, skill effects, emotions. The mana once experienced by the owner at a specific location will be recreated. The clarity of the image depends on the quantity and quality of the mana used as a medium. Glimmering magical currents, gradually gathered in the room. Sio stared intently at the two illusions ahead, replaying the past. The figure wearing glasses clutched his shoulder in pain and retreated. Bree spoke up, annoyed. Is it because your mana levels are too low? I can't see anything clearly. Sio replied helplessly. There's no other way. Besides, recorded mana only shows the target's emotions, not their memories. Sio bowed. His face was thoughtful. Minjun wasn't a weak hunter. Sio glanced at Minjun's silhouette, slumped on the ground, leaning against the wall. If he was killed that quickly by just one person, that means the enemy is at an extremely high level. Minjun's mouth murmured something, causing Sio to freeze. He gritted his teeth and pressed, That is an order. What? A magical aura surrounded the hooded figure's illusion. He grinned, revealing sharp upper teeth. Sio fell into deep thought. With high-ranking enemies like that, Minjun wasn't just a member of the Research Institute. He belonged to some other organization as well. Bree asked anxiously, Are you okay? The cup placed in the center of the magic circle released a burst of energy. What do you mean? Sio wondered. Bree began, Back in the demon realm, you always talked about your disciple and your brother. Even after 100 years, you never forgot them. The moment you set foot on Earth, the first thing you did was search for them. And yet you just witnessed your disciple pass away and you're still this calm? Are you heartless? Sio reached out to grab something under the magic circle. Bree, your vocabulary is getting quite extensive. Where did you learn those words? Bree continued. Your emotions are currently churning to the point where it makes me sick. Yet on the outside you show nothing. Or rather, you can't. Co turned and walked away, voice firm. I'm fine. After 100 years, this day was bound to happen sooner or later. The door was shoved open by someone outside. A man covering half his face stood at attention and spoke. Minsu, right? He reached up to scratch his head, letting out a sigh. Where the hell have you been wandering off to all day? Honestly, what a pain. Anyway, come along quietly. Someone is itching to meet you. Co crossed his arms and looked on with disdain. You're pretty arrogant, even while dragging along 6 little rats. Ryu was stunned by his words, furrowing his brow with a menacing tone. I'll give you 2 choices. Choose. 1, stay quiet and let quiet. My men tie you up and follow us. Behind Ryu stood countless underlings. 2, resist, get slashed to pieces, and be dragged off while covered in blood. Rather than being slashed, Co didn't bother adding more. Tie him up. Ryu ordered quickly, but as the underlings rushed forward, a violent shadow pierced through the brown-haired guy, making him scream as blood gushed out. Another strike was launched. His whole body was bleeding. Co looked at the little imp in his hand and smirked. Actually, I prefer the option of getting slashed. Bree panicked. You've been tricked, you idiot! The underlings charged, one shouting, Damn it! I'll take care of you. A cold voice rang out. Stop. Gert frowned, a red magical aura surrounding his hand. I'll handle this guy. He's my prey. Co put his hands on his hips, looking amused. Interesting. He, with arms bulging with muscles, stared at Co. Are you the hunter, mean Co? His eyes narrowed with hatred, shouting, Co, you're the one who killed my brother, Bree whispered. Hey, food. Out of all the people I've faced, this one looks the most delicious. Co scratched his neck, bored. Brother, I'm not so sure. Do you ever ask for the name of the trash before sweeping it away? Gert's face darkened, his eyes sharpening. He surged forward, creating a crack in the tiles. You bastard! Gert's hand glowed with enhanced power as he lunged straight at Co. I'll tear your heart out. His face twisted in rage as he punched directly at Co. A brilliant golden light appeared, healing the wounds Gert had caused. Co flashed a bright smile, evaluating. Not bad. Mid-A rank. Gert was so furious that the veins on his face popped out. He thought to himself, Instant recovery, is he a healer? Co jumped back, retreating behind him. Gert charged in, screaming, You little brat! 2 of Gert's underlings looked horrified, whispering, He blocked the guild leader's attack? The other shouted, What are you standing there for? Get him! Suddenly, Co appeared, shoving his face toward one of them and saying, No, I can't let you interfere. The electromagnet aimed at where Co was standing and fired repeatedly, but he dodged them nimbly. The system notified him of the lightning flash skill. Co was excited. It's been a long time since I've had a fight this interesting. Everyone there witnessed Co's incredible speed, asking themselves, a healer with an acceleration skill? What the hell is he? Gert watched Co lift his disciple by the neck and thought, he analyzed all my movements and dodged with minimal effort. I've never seen a speed-type hunter in a dungeon reach this level of precision. Just how wide is his field of vision? He's no normal person. Gert became determined. Since it's come to this, I have to go all out. Co glanced at him and asked, Looks like you're misunderstanding something. If there's a crime, whether it's your brother or you must be punished. You are awakened criminals, so it's only natural you die by my hand. Why look so aggrieved? The people who should feel wronged are the civilians your brother harmed. He was so angry his face turned red, gritting his teeth as he growled, Don't spout nonsense! Are you saying every criminal deserves to die? Past scenes flickered, little Gert being carried on his brother's back, happily joking around. He yelled, You know nothing about the life my brother lived. Just because you have power, you think you can do whatever you want. Ah, you fool, Riken. My brother had no choice but to become a criminal to feed and protect me when I was small. He just did whatever he had to do to survive. His muscular arms glowed, surrounded by dark energy. Your sin is trampling on that life without a second thought. From Gert, there appeared countless sharp magic arrows. With hateful eyes, he stared at Co and roared, Pay with your life! The system displayed the A-rank skill. Wolf Fang Heaven Strike. Effect, compresses mana, materializes it, and creates a synchronized barrage of attacks that track the target's movements. Seo stood motionless as the arrows whistled through the air toward him. I can't dodge this. Only able to move now. Bree, use your skill. Bree grumbled. You're draining me dry, you glutton. I'm just a fragment of mana. I'm about to run out. A prominent golden magic circle appeared. Appearing before his eyes, Seo spoke firmly. Use it for this last time. Go rest. Leave the rest to me. His hand reached out to the magic circle. Seo shouted, Nullify! The system displayed Skill, Nullification, Mystery Rank. The description identified type of opponent's skill and mana level. Input opposing attributes into the formula to cancel it out via the magic matrix. Effectiveness depends on the user's ability to control mana and the user's observation skills. Good looked panicked as each of his arrows vanished before even touching Seo. How? How did you dispel it? Ryu! Breaking into a cold sweat and gritting his teeth, he watched the match, thinking, no way he has a high-level skill that can nullify an A-rank hunter's technique. Damn it, forget about the bounty. We're at a disadvantage now. Maybe we should just surrender. A flow of magic swirled around Seo. He stepped closer to Good. People who end up in situations like your brother. Do you all choose to become criminals? Don't try to sell me that cheap sentiment. He kicked him. Good roared, You're outdated. Stumbling back and dropping to one knee to balance himself, his underlings shouted, President! His face turned pale. He crossed his arms over his chest, panting, and ordered, Don't interfere. A vortex swirled around Good's hand. His face contorted as he thought, those high-level skills can't be used continuously. If he's a healer, I have the advantage. When it comes to stamina, any healer will eventually run out of mana, so I just need to get close and finish him off quickly. I'll crush you with my Wolf Fang Heaven Strike. He focused his energy. He lunged at Seo, but Seo was one step faster. Seo jumped up and grabbed Good's head, warning, Don't use it. Seo punched him in the stomach. Don't use it! I said don't use it! He winced in pain as Seo landed a painful punch to his face. This building is already falling apart. Are you going to take responsibility if it collapses? You damn criminal! He began to counterattack, roaring and attacking Seo with magic. Reaching his hand up, Good ordered, Ryu, Ian Pang, tie him up! Ryu slammed his hand onto the ground. Earth formed magic chains. He complained, 1 minute you say don't interfere, the next you're telling us to step in. Which one is it? Here! Ryu's chains bound Seo's body. Taking advantage of Seo being restrained, Good poured all his power toward him. You enemy of my brother, I'll blow your entire body away, without leaving any chance to recover. Seo reached out, creating a golden magic circle that caused the chains to break piece by piece. Congrats to you and your brother for becoming criminals together. Seo pushed the magic surrounding him. It left him stunned. Life drain. The system displayed Skill, Life Drain, SS, Rank. Effect, absorb the target's life force within range. Good, began to wither. His skin shriveled as if his bones were about to poke through. Ryu sat on the ground, trembling and stuttering. What the hell is that? Is that a healer's skill? Seo unleashed a stream of golden magic that appeared beneath his feet. This is the first skill I awakened when I became a hunter. Ryu was terrified. That thing? I was never a normal healer to begin with, Seo said. Raising his hand high, the magic circle immediately coiled around Good, leaving him floating in his grip. Instead of using mana to heal life force, I manipulate life force as I please. It's called soul necromancy. Understand? Seo wore a sinister smile, glancing at him, then turned toward Ryu. Now, who's next? Ryu backed away in fear. Wait, I won't resist. Just... Seo smirked. He struck Ryu's neck. Shut up! He turned away, wondering if he had finished cleaning up. Suddenly, Seo reached out to touch his waist pouch. Right. This time it must have worked. It worked properly, right? His face blurred. Before the screen, Seo held his phone and asked loudly, Hey! Can you see, Byung-gu? Is the recording okay? I wasn't the one who started the fight this time, so it counts as self-defense, right? Jong-gu, on the other side, wiped his sweat while answering, Yes, Hunter Minseo. The signal is coming through clearly, but you just pressed the Go Live button instead of recording. The scene shifted to a room. Someone's voice rang out. This situation is definitely going to cause trouble for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The man with glasses facing the elderly woman spoke. Since when did the SMCS start? Broadcasting live the process of suppressing awakened criminals? The man next to him looked confused. This was done about 2 years ago, acting as a promotional video for the SMCS International Headquarters to recruit talent. On the phone appeared an image of a monster. The voice continued. The idea was to broadcast the arrest of criminals via social media integration, but in reality it was more like a failed project in the testing phase. There's no way the SMCS could produce a video of decent quality. The man with glasses rested his chin on his hand, wondering, so it seems a phenomenal talent has joined the SMCS. But why would someone with skills like that come here? The old woman asked. Is that really the most important problem right now? She waved her hand and continued. What's more noteworthy is that the victim in this live stream is a guest hunter from the Chain Guild in Hong Kong. After verifying the authenticity of the video, there were no legal violations by the SMCS under current law. But even so, a man walked up and apologized for keeping them waiting. Choi Dae-soo, the current president of South Korea, spoke coldly. Fine. And so, what happened when everyone gathered to eat at the cafeteria during lunch break? A few days later, at the Empire Guild's cafeteria, Si-jun sat across from his brother and called out, Hey brother, are you even listening? That live stream video that was just released? You're not even listening to me, are you? Seo nonchalantly stuffed his mouth with food. No, I'm eating. I'm listening. Disturbing others when they're eating? Just be quiet and enjoy the pork. Seo continued to marvel. Wow, the cafeteria here really is on another level. No wonder they call this a major guild. Can I eat here every day from now on? Si-jun pondered. Lately, it feels like my brother is strangely obsessed with food. Seo kept munching away while listening to Si-jun talk about the live video of Good from the Chain Guild. It's becoming a hot topic in Hong Kong. Luckily, because it was filmed from a body-worn camera, the footage is shaky, and brother's face isn't clearly visible. Si-jun looked worried. His brother continued. But if Choi Dae-soo finds out you're back, who knows what he'll do? Didn't you say last time that your mana hasn't fully recovered yet? Is this because of the spatial shift? Considering everything Dae-soo has done over the past decade to scrub clean every trace of his existence, the best thing he can do now is just stay low and keep quiet. Seo picked up a piece of rolled omelet and replied hurriedly, all right, if you're that worried. I'll be careful and keep a low profile. Now eat. Si-jun looked sullen and grumbled. Seriously, do you think I'm a kid? I'm almost 30. Exactly, Seo replied nonchalantly. To me, you'll always be just a little brat. An exclamation of surprise rang out. The Guildmaster? Are you at the cafeteria for lunch again? Wait, that person. Seo looked at the group following her and wondered, I've definitely met them at the tower, but who are they? Oh, right? Oh? Si-jun reached out slightly. Hunter Shin Jisoo. She just joined our guild as a rookie. She's even awakened an A-rank skill, but it's all thanks to Hunter Min-soo. The Guildmaster already told me about you. Si-jun turned his gaze to the man next to her. But if Hunter Seok is with Jisoo, then there's a joint seminar for the new guild recruits today, right? Is that why everyone is gathered here? A voice introduced the man with brown hair. This is Hunter Chu Haman from the White Lion Guild. Turning to the man with blue hair, and this is Hunter Zamato from the Hanhon Guild. The young man smiled brightly and introduced himself. And I am Seok Taiji, from the Empire Guild, Hunter Min-soo. I've heard a lot about you from the Guildmaster, but this is my first chance to introduce myself formally. I hear you've been racking up quite the record at SMCS. I look forward to working with you, Seo said cheerfully. Oh, the pleasure is mine. A hand landed on Taiji's shoulder. SMCS. So you're the rookie sensation causing all the buzz lately? Haman continued. I have already seen the video of you taking down Gert. He was supposed to be my rival. So you're the person in that video? That sounds ridiculous to me. Taiji looked pale and flustered. What's wrong with him today? Hunter Chu. Haman! Si-jun called out coldly, his face tensing as he gritted his teeth. You are being incredibly rude to someone you've just met. And inside the guild headquarters, no less. The Empire Guild on top of that. Haman acted as if nothing was wrong. What, can I not ask a question? Goodness, the Empire Guild sure is strict. Taiji broke into a sweat. Hey, have you lost your mind? Ah, Sejun shouted indignantly, letting out a string of remarks. Actually, it's your White Lion Guild that should be ashamed of this attitude. I wonder how your guildmaster Choi Sung-in would react if he knew about this. Haman put a hand to his chest, laughing arrogantly. Really? Are you going to go snitch to your superiors? I am Chu Haman, an A+ rank Asura hunter of the White Lion Guild, a direct disciple of Xiaolong, the guildmaster of the Blackwater Alliance. Do you think I'd be scared just because of a guild name? Seo casually shoved food into his mouth, thinking to himself, a disciple of Xiaolong? Haman pointed at himself, saying, Sung In Hyung has always pampered me from the start. Ah, someone clapped their hands to intervene. All right, that's enough. Exactly. Seo leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and spoke up. Stop whining in someone else's headquarters. If you really want to verify something, come find me and confirm it yourself. One look is all it takes. Your so-called master has completely failed to teach you how to behave. I wonder how well he even trained you to fight. Haman gnashed his teeth at Seo, thinking, this little brat dares to drag my master into this? If we weren't in someone else's guild, I would have crushed him already. Haman stared daggers at Seo. Watch yourself. Try to keep your life. Taiji looked embarrassed and panicked, glancing at Seo. Damn it, that guy really is a guild master. I'm sorry, I'll handle this. Sai-jun felt helpless, not knowing. What? Just let him go. He turned back to look at Seo. Don't worry, I'll handle him personally, and I'll make the White Lion Guild pay for our property damages, too. At least a few million won. Seo answered nonchalantly. Don't worry, you saw it yourself. I held back as much as I could. After all, he's just a disciple of a disciple. I should be a little lenient. On a cabinet full of countless medals, in a room full of solemnity, a voice echoed, in that case, I will consider this matter resolved. Guildmaster Choi Sung-in, Baek Jeon-ho, the HMC branch director, lifted his teacup for a sip. Usually, this would be settled with just a formal document. It's an honor that you came to our headquarters personally, despite your busy schedule. Choi Sung-in, the White Lion Guildmaster, broke into a sweat. Not at all this time, it's not just about business. We also need to offer a formal apology. He spoke cautiously. Regarding the recent incident, I want to apologize for the rude behavior of a member of our guild toward a rookie from SMCS. We have already discussed this with the Empire Guild, but I felt it was necessary to meet the involved parties in person to apologize. Baek John, Ho replied bluntly, without hesitation, and suddenly let out a loud laugh. It's not to the point where a guildmaster of the White Lion would need to apologize personally. After all, there wasn't any actual physical conflict. Of course, I know what you're trying to do isn't just apologizing, but recruiting. However, that hunter is an invaluable asset to MCS, and they are extremely busy right now. At the moment, they are on a mission at a prison escorting awakened criminals, so they aren't even here. Choi Sung-in wondered. That's a pity, but isn't it rare for a prison to request support from SMCS? Jeon-ho replied, it is rare, but it's not unprecedented. Until now, these kinds of requests were mostly handled by the larger guilds, but from now on, many things are going to change, don't you think? Sung-in stood up. I understand what you mean. By the way, if I cannot meet that hunter in person to apologize, would you allow Hunter Chu Haman to apologize directly instead? He held his teacup and leaned back in his chair. That would be fine. Regardless, this is a matter between the two of them. I wish Guildmaster Choi Sung-in a safe trip. A transparent portal appeared. As Sung-in walked away, he thought resolutely, you people are really trying to hide him well, but that doesn't mean I'll give up on such a talent so easily. He called his secretary and she appeared immediately. Yes, Guildmaster? He ordered her to contact Hunter Chu and tell him to prepare for a trip, and to tell him to bring the most polite face he could possibly manage. She looked at Sung-in and asked, Understood. Where should I tell him to meet? Incheon. A fat man lounged in his chair, fanning himself incessantly. Isn't SMCS the one who sent the support request this time? Why haven't they arrived yet? The person standing at the door said seriously, They said they'd be here soon. The fat man glanced at the newspaper and grumbled, Honestly, they've been locked up for months. What are they causing trouble for now? The fat man threw the paper onto the table. Criminals can't stay quiet for even a second. And right before the inspection season, too. It's truly exhausting. The newspaper showed a wanted person. He shouted angrily, Siri Vaughn, that bastard. He was obedient when he was arrested, so I thought there wouldn't be any problems. and yet he suddenly rebelled as if he'd lost his mind. Even with suppression shackles on, he still seriously injured 5 people. The other man followed up. I heard he was a notoriously high-profile criminal in the underworld. Even the investigation authorities had a hell of a time catching him. He spoke up, "Get this dead weight to Gangwon as soon as possible." In a row of prison cells, a voice came from a handcuffed man. "Siri Vaughn, this is a message from Bestia. Someone hooded placed a mouse in your hand. You know about the upcoming meeting, right? The organization has already made a move here. You have a task to complete. If you want to get out of here, cause a little chaos in the prison." CO looked up at the prison and muttered, "Is it that place? The prison for awakened in Incheon." Haman grabbed his head and said loudly, "Did he just leave? Why the rush to transfer prisoners? If it weren't for Sanjin being this stubborn will." Haman glanced at the blue vehicle driving in the distance and asked, "Wait, is that the car?" The prison guard replied in confusion, "Must be." Haman walked into the vehicle, frustrated. He grumbled, "Damn it, I might have to drive straight to Gangwon. I absolutely have to get that overtime pay and allowance this time." What a damn guild leader. On another note, CO was leaning back in his seat in the car, drinking water, when he was suddenly called out. Siri Vaughn sneered, "You're hurting my feelings, man. Drinking alone. How's that taste?" CO replied with a cold, "Don't care attitude, whatever." The guy grumbled, "You cheeky brat, are you the jailer at the prison I'm being transferred to?" CO replied to his question, "No." Siri Vaughn quickly squinted and leaned back. "Then what? Did some big guild send you? I've never seen your face before. The way you're still sticking around even after hearing my name, you must be pretty confident in your skills, huh?" CO looked at him with wide, watery eyes. "Who are you?" The guy broke into a sweat. "Are you serious? You hopped in the car and don't even know who I am? What a lunatic. You should at least know why a prisoner is being transferred." CO chugged his drink again and mumbled, "Because you talk too much, that's why you're being transferred." Siri Vaughn grimaced in rage. "You little prick, I have to wear these damn handcuffs. Because I turned 5 awakened criminals into a pile of mush. Do you get the situation now?" CO remained completely unfazed, his face expressionless. "What do you think is the reason an A-rank awakened criminal is being moved in a regular transport vehicle with a rookie guard attached?" Starting to get the picture, Siri Vaughn. He couldn't take it anymore and screamed, "You're a dead man!" A massive explosion sent the car tumbling and wrecking onto the grass by the roadside. An old man leaning on a cane stood next to someone sitting down and asked, "Is he dead yet?" Siri Vaughn kicked the door open in a rage and roared, "Damn it, you crazy old man!" He poked his head out the window, frustrated. "Were you trying to kill me too?" The old man swung his cane and laughed, looking at him. If Bestia's gray wolf went down that easily, it wouldn't be worth mentioning. Right now, you just look like a puppy on a leash. He barked angrily. "Want me to pull your dentures out?" The old man chuckled. "Ha-ha, still can't take a joke? You definitely took care of the escort officer who was with you, right?" Siri Vaughn stepped out of the vehicle. "Of course. I kicked him right in the temple the moment the car exploded, so he's probably somewhere now drinking brain-flavored coffee." Inside the car, CO lay on the floor with a spilled cup of ice next to him. Siri Vaughn held out his cuffed hands. "Hey, can't you take these off any faster?" The guy standing opposite him grumbled, "If you don't want your hands to fly off, sit still. Mana technology is pretty sophisticated these days." After unlocking the cuffs, Siri Vaughn rubbed his shoulders and sighed. "I thought I was going to go crazy and die, kid," he sneered. "Stop exaggerating. It's only been a few months." A voice rang out, freezing them all in place. "Stand still, you damn criminals!" Haman stood before them and said, "I was wondering why you chose this dark, deserted road. Finally causing some real trouble, huh? I had a hunch about this, but seeing him beaten into a pulp like that, he's really nothing special." CEO. Jin sure has no eye for talent. Haman clenched his hands, looking tensely at the criminals. "So who are you two? Which organization are you from? You want to talk right here or get beaten until you decide to spill?" The kid lowered his voice and said, "I've seen that face somewhere. It's A-rank hunter Chu Haman from White Tiger. Since when has he been tailing us?" The old man spoke up. "No other hunters detected nearby. He's all alone." Siri Vaughn smirked with interest. "Good. It's been a while since I've had a workout." Haman took a battle stance and said, "Stop whispering. I'll ask one more time. Who are you, you rotting criminals?" Siri Vaughn said cryptically. "But do you really need to know?" Right after that, he transformed into a terrifying werewolf. The system displayed, skill A+ rank werewolf. Description: transforms the user's body into a werewolf. can be maintained until mana is exhausted. Haman gritted his teeth, thinking angrily, a shapeshifter awakened. Even so, if I just beat him, he'll turn back into a human. Haman roared, a red magic circle appearing behind him. You arrogant piece of trash! Both of them charged at each other. The system displayed Skill, A+, rank Asura Vajra. Description. By rotating internal mana, the skill covers the entire body in an invisible layer of armor. Enhances close-quarters combat techniques. The momentum of higher-rank attacks will be ingrained. Haman unleashed a barrage of strikes on Siri Vaughn. He raised his hands to block the blows, thinking to himself, an A-rank attack speed buff? If I'm facing this alone, it's going to be a bit troublesome. Haman raised his hands with an inexplicably powerful surge of magic, thinking, damn it, what the hell is this? I can clearly feel the impact, and the damage is building up. Haman. He kept punching Vaughn, but he wouldn't fall. He kept blocking. Acting dismissive, is this a welcome massage service? The kid placed his hand on his head. But you're still getting your ass kicked. Enough already. The old man watched the battle and ordered, who knows when reinforcements will arrive? We don't have time to waste, kid. Finish it. Hearing that, the kid reached out and created magic in his palm. Got it. Bind him, 10-headed serpent. Haman looked up in shock as several serpents sprouted forth. Haman shouted, what did you think you're doing with these snakes? The two serpent heads opened their mouths wide, and Haman was tightly constricted by them. He thought, damn tracking skill, gotta take this chance. Vaughn immediately launched an attack and mocked, White Tiger isn't that special, is it? Haman took a painful blow and rolled to the ground. Vaughn said with contempt, you think you're something just because you were pampered in a big guild? In these dark alleys, you're just a loser, brat. Haman lay on the ground, growling, damn it all. Acting all high and mighty while ganging up on me? Vaughn lifted his foot and stomped on Haman. If you're stupid, you pay the price. Just sit there and wait for your backup. The old man reminded Vaughn. No, more time. Finish him. He replied, got it. A surge of magic appeared around Vaughn's hand. He looked down at Haman and asked, any last words? Not that I'd bother listening anyway. Haman, frowning in annoyance, he muttered, is this where it all ends? A stretch of earth shot up, blocking his attack and extending toward his two accomplices. The kid took the hit, coughing up a mouthful. Blood. Sio appeared with a burst of brilliant golden mana. Giving up on your enemies? Is that what Xiaolong taught you? Haman's eyes went wide with shock. He was still alive. Sio, I reached down to feel the belt, needing a second to figure out how to operate this tiny thing. Here, which button is it? It's live streaming. Which one is for recording? Frey chimed in. Are you getting old? Get a magnifying glass and look. The king was stunned, falling backward in disbelief. No way it can't be. It was clearly I crushed his skull before I left. The old man frowned. That brat is dead. Even I can't sense any mana flow. This isn't a normal skill. It's just Haman shouted a warning. Hey, you're no match for them. Wait for backup. Sio stood in front of Haman, facing the criminals. Listing your crimes. Assaulting an escort officer, breaking the seal, awakening a criminal to attack, destroying a prisoner transport vehicle, plotting to murder a hunter, and worst of all, daring to interrupt my sacred coffee break. Under the authority of an SMCS. Hunter, the three of you are caught in the act. You will all be dealt with right here. Sio stood firm, shielding Haman with his status as a hunter. The three of you are caught red-handed. You'll be executed on the spot. Sio glanced back at Haman. Hey, you're Xiaolong's student after all. Watch closely. Asura wasn't just a simple attack skill. He flicked his fingers and strange seals materialized in the air. The werewolf looked annoyed. Stung by Sio's attitude, he lunged forward like a starving beast. You psycho! What the hell are you babbling about? Even though the werewolf was several times Sio's size, a single punch from him twisted the beast's face. The guy was sent flying. Sio explained, that's a piercing skill. You could say, the Asura Blood Dance Black Armor skill describes the ultimate form of the technique. It rotates the mana flow within the body to create armor covering the entire frame, enhancing combat and leaving marks as you move. Haman's jaw dropped in disbelief. Isn't that Master Xiaolong's signature move? The werewolf hadn't even touched the ground before Sio rushed in. If I'm going to butcher you, I have to drain the blood first. Co used a Mahoraga technique, blowing the werewolf away before he could even land. This is the A+ rank, Heavenly Lightning / Mahoraga. It's a lightning attribute magic skill that deals both area of effect damage and precision strikes. The monk watched from afar, stunned that Co had managed to dodge the Heavenly Lightning Slash? No way, Co patted Frey. Using a cursed tool for a rapid-fire attack? I guess you haven't wasted these past few years, I'll give you that. Frey was confused. What the hell is this? I've never seen a skill like this before. Is it edible? Co stared at the monk. No, it's like a one-time use scroll. If you channel mana into the magic inscribed by the creator, it activates. It's too expensive for a poor hunter like me to even dream of. Frey decided it was just cheap junk food, so he lost interest entirely. Haman, sitting on the ground, finally managed to speak up. Hunter Co? Who are you? Why? Do you know my master's techniques? But before he could finish, he was pinned down by an invisible force. None other than the monk was behind it, surrounded by eerie, magical incantations. Don't you dare. Move, kid. Unless you want to watch him get crushed under my gravity field. Haman's face turned deathly pale, but this didn't make Co anxious at all. So while your teammates were getting beaten to a pulp, you were busy plotting in the shadows, and now you're trying to threaten me? The monk felt a pang of guilt, pointing a finger. No, this is a deal. Let us leave, and you'll keep him safe. The monk thought he could still persuade Co. You were just dragged into this mission by accident, right? Am I right? If you just walk away quietly? Hearing this, Co was itching to fight. What the hell are you talking about? If I didn't have my own agenda, I wouldn't have taken this dirty mission in the first place. And Haman, getting hit a little won't kill him, right? Co truly didn't care. Meanwhile, Haman was both furious and terrified. What do you mean, won't kill me? The monk was stunned. Wait, aren't you two on the same side? The ones truly on the same side were those people and the prison. Co replied, You're professional hunter-killers, right? And you work for a major organization. The monk's eyes popped out, shocked that Co knew that much. Co stepped even closer. Carrying high-grade cursed tools, having skills that counter awakened abilities, and connections to the prison well, it's obvious. Who do you work for? The monk realized he couldn't ignore it any longer. You figured out all that and still dared to come here alone, kid? Who the hell are you? What do you want? This time, Co looked genuinely annoyed. Look, I just said that, didn't I? What, did you forget to take your hearing aid out? I asked. Who do you work for? The monk was about to lose it. The orb in his hand grew larger, and the sparks of electricity intensified. If you take one more step, Co's expression didn't change. A mere flick of his hand caused the monk's weapon to malfunction. He clutched his staff. Oh no! My cursed tool! The monk retreated to save his life, unable to understand how the kid had overloaded his weapon. With a similar lightning attribute skill, that should have been impossible with the mana density of a normal human. Frey seemed more interested now. Doesn't the food look a bit more appetizing now? Co looked at his palm. 40% recovered, huh? Looks like a proper warm-up is more effective than I expected. Co looked back at the monk, who was struggling to stand up with his old, aching back. Old man, stop wasting time. At your age, isn't every second precious? The old man tried to resist. You only know the surface, not the truth. Even if we belong to an organization, do you really think I'd just spill it? Despite his bravado, his legs were shaking uncontrollably. The useless teammate who had passed out finally woke up. Anyone who belongs to a real organization has signed a vow of silence. This vow is bound by the signer's own mana, and anyone who reveals the organization's secrets will be executed immediately. Haman, behind them, managed to shake off the gravity curse and tried to stand up. That werewolf, with a trembling body, he struggled just to sit up. Hearing the coughing, the old monk turned around. Finally, you've decided to wake up. What a blockhead. Co smirked, unimpressed. Is that really it? You're so afraid of dying? Don't worry, I can just send you back to the underworld a few more times. You'll get used to it. I wonder about this time. What move will Co use next? The monk, trembling in fear of Co's power, barked at Vaughn the werewolf. Do something! Stop standing there! Even though the beast had barely recovered. He held on for a bit, but Vaughn is actually pretty tough. I see, damn old man. Vaughn didn't seem to cower before Co, even after witnessing a glimpse of his true power. Even if it costs me my life, I'll tear you apart. Seo threw a straight punch right into the chest. Of Vaughn. It's not going to be that easy. Haman wiped the blood from his nose. Finally, the odds are even again, but he had a weird, crooked smile on his face. Vaughn glared at him, annoyed. You should have just stayed down instead of getting in our way. Haman grinned with determination. That nonsense is over. Now the real fun begins. But everything had pushed Seo's patience to its limit. Wind cutter. With just 2 words and a light flick of his hand, Seo's tornadoes easily captured Vaughn and the monk. This was the Heavenly Wind Myriad Returns technique, a wide-range wind spell that uses mana to manipulate the atmosphere, spinning it at high speeds to deal devastating damage. The monk felt Seo's hand tighten around his old throat. How's this? That's exactly how it feels going to hell. Seo held his neck as nonchalantly as if he were about to slaughter a chicken. He had only tightened his grip a little, and it made the monk scream in agony. Seo's expression turned dark, looking exactly like someone who had just crawled up from hell. How many times do you think you need to try before you finally answer my question? Even after being beaten to a pulp by Seo, the monk tremblingly grabbed Seo's hand. What exactly are you? Still not enough? Seo growled at him. Haman stood to the side, too terrified to speak. This is insane. Seo is healing them just before they die. If I were in their position, I'd rather just go to hell than deal with that freakish healing skill. What the hell is that thing? Haman stood frozen, not daring to make a sound. Seo suppressed his aggressive nature, crossed his arms, and looked down. I'll ask for the 3rd time. Who do you work for? Because they had endured so much pain, Vaughn fell to his knees, begging, Please, stop! Just tell him, old man, please! The monk, completely drained of strength, wheezed out, Bestia. Seo's face instantly broke into a smile. All right then, Bestia it is. The monk lay in pain on the ground, looking up at him, finally admitting it to himself. He had been half skeptical, but after seeing those skills, he was certain this was one of the 3 legends who vanished long ago. Mad Dog Min Siu. He walked toward them. Now that your mouths are finally open, let's start the real conversation. The members of Bestia. Seo went straight to the point. Do you know where that person is? Bestia, an elite assassination group led by Crow. In this world, they were a formidable force, both in terms of skill and the number of missions completed. I also spent a long time hiding in the shadows as a first-generation hunter, so I had no reason to hesitate when receiving an invitation from such a major organization. For assassins in an organization, keeping teammates' secrets is the most basic rule. The moment you swear silence, your life and death belong to the organization you're loyal to. Until your head hits the ground. That's the rule of this world. It had been 15 years since he joined, and he had never thought of betraying them. He'd rather cut out his own tongue. But after experiencing the real hell multiple times, his resolve loosened. The monk couldn't take it anymore and spilled the secret. The person was a member of Bestia, codename Black Mamba. A 3D image of someone appeared in Seo's hand. Seo pondered for a moment. Black Mamba, that's the name anyway. So you guys come from that organization. Well, I have one question for both of you. Vaughn began to tremble after the most horrific moments of his life. Have you ever received a mission to assassinate the hunter Minjin? He stared straight at Vaughn. No answer. Just a single short sentence radiated so much killing intent that Vaughn couldn't even lift his head. Damn it, it feels like my skin is being peeled off. I see. What kind of monster is this? The monk spoke up to explain, No, even though it's called an organization, we're actually just a loose group of individuals who rarely cooperate. We don't even know each other's identities or whereabouts. However, there is one reason we came to get this wolf out of the prison. The organization's biannual meeting is taking place next week. They ordered us to break him out and attend the meeting together. If you wish, we will tell you everything about the location and how to infiltrate it, and we will do our best to support you. Vaughn beside him gritted his teeth, glaring at the monk. He seemed truly broken. He knelt down. Please, accept us as your subordinates. Haman was annoyed. Hey, what are you guys babbling about? Haman turned to his boss. You aren't actually planning on taking these criminals in, are you? Since when did I become your boss? Haman blushed, embarrassed, and started to explain. But Seo had already used Asura. Just by looking at it, I know you're connected to my master. At the very least, you must be a fellow disciple or even his master's senior. So, boss, don't take these criminals. Take me as your disciple instead. I might be a bit cheeky at first, but if you take me in, I swear to become your right-hand man." Seo stood up and brushed off his clothes. "Shut it." It was truly surprising to see Haman so obedient. He shut his mouth immediately. Seo thought silently. What he wanted was information about that damn snake, Black Mamba. If he left these guys, the organization would just silence them soon anyway. But if they leaked information about him to Black Mamba, first, that would be a huge headache. Because of that, Seo decided, "Fine, I'll take you as my subordinates." Haman shrieked, "No way, boss!" The monk thanked him joyfully. "We swear our loyalty, and we will never become a burden to you." But Seo had a condition. Even if forced, someone who betrays once can betray again. That's why they had to swear a mana oath. Vaughn fearfully whispered to the monk, "A mana oath? A binding contract? Breaking the oath seals the mana core. Damn it, another leash around our necks?" The monk knew it, but had to accept it. "Shut up! Do you want to go back to hell and come back here a few dozen more times?" Seo meant what he said. A magic circle appeared where they were kneeling. He was ready. Now they had to focus their mana into their cores and declare their names. Both of them could only, following along without daring to make a sound, "I am Red Ghost, and I am Saravun Freya. I'm quite pleased to have taken these two as my underlings. The errand boy has become a subordinate." "That's right, Red Ghost, Saravun. From now on, you are my hands and feet." Haman stood to the side, witnessing it all, unable to believe his eyes. Seo had accepted these two as subordinates. Seo pulled out a contract paper. "The price of loyalty is my protection. As long as you are bound by the mana oath, you'll be safe. Understood, Ghost?" Pressing their heads down, they replied in unison, "We obey." Hamin was so angry he wanted to cry. He threw a tantrum on the ground. "Boss, what about me? You took in a bunch of criminals. And yet, why won't you take me? If you don't accept me as your disciple, I'm going straight to the association." Seo didn't say much, just gave a smile full of malevolence, accompanied by a murderous glare directed at Haman, causing him to instantly retract his words. "Sorry, I was just kidding." Seo tucked away the contract. "So, the meeting is taking place in 1 week, right? Disciple Xiaolong, I will accept you as my disciple." Hearing this, Haman jumped up and stood at attention. "Really?" Haman was as happy as a child, his eyes sparkling. "For real, boss?" "Ah, no." "Master." Seo let out a weary sigh. "Yes, for now I need as much manpower as possible for what's coming." After being accepted, Haman immediately became arrogant. "Like a child, see that? I am now the head disciple of a great figure. If you dare tease me." Ghost and Saravun didn't understand what the hell Haman was talking about, while Seo silently walked away. He summed it up. He had 4 people now, just enough to cause a ruckus, but it seemed he would need one more person to clean up the battlefield. Later, at the prison, it looked as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, a loud voice erupted. "What the hell is going on? The prisoner escaped from the transport vehicle? Do you have any idea how dangerous he is? And the entire escort team is still alive, which means he just ran off. I heard the HMCS has been working effectively lately. Turns out that was just nonsense rumors, huh?" Young Ho recalled the scene of Seo sitting with his legs crossed, recounting the story. He was so fast that I couldn't catch him. Young Ho was furious but couldn't do anything about it. If you want to lie, at least make up a story that's a bit more believable, wouldn't you say? Thinking that just saying cleaned up the scene is enough to finish everything? How ridiculous. The fat guy kept on rambling, and the new escort officer standing there. "This is a serious case of negligence. The HMCS must take full responsibility for this mission." Young Woo spoke up. "Warden, usually when transporting an awakened prisoner, there are at least 4 to 5 officers accompanying them. Especially when transferring inmates to a high-security prison, the number can go up to 10. Hearing this, the fat warden couldn't scold them anymore, but this time you were the one who requested only 1 person. Not even counting the driver from Incheon prison. The fat warden stood up angrily. "What do you mean by that? Losing a prisoner is still the HMCS's responsibility, but from what I've heard..." "Right," Young Ho continued. The new escort officer reported that just before escaping, the prisoner confessed to bribing the higher-ups of this prison. This made the fat warden so pale with fear. "What? The surveillance camera of that officer was turned off, right? Then obviously he's just making things up. A group of people pushed the door and entered. Zonggu admitted that the warden's words were true. We cannot fully trust that testimony, but once the matter has been mentioned, we have a responsibility to verify it, right? Therefore, the HMCS will conduct a full investigation into the escaped prisoner and this prison. I hope for your cooperation. It seems Zonggu is exactly the one Xiao chose as his cleaner. And after settling everything, Zonggu was so exhausted he was practically fading away. This is a real drawing, not a technical glitch or anything. Xiao, as you instructed, I have handled everything related to the escort mission. We have also opened an investigation into the bribery involving the assassination organization. But the hunter Haman, nicknamed White Lion, stood there scratching his head along with an old man of unknown identity. And isn't this the prisoner who just escaped earlier? Xiao quickly covered Young Ho's mouth. Shut it, zip your lip, and sit down. This is a long story. After a while of explaining, Xiao could finally start the meeting to discuss tomorrow's mission. We are infiltrating the meeting of the Beastia Assassination Organization. This is an important gathering where about 8 high-level individuals specialized in hunting hunters will be present. These traitors will explain the details of the infiltration plan. So Zonggu and Haman listen very carefully. Zonggu was a bit startled. Wait, you mean we're going to infiltrate a meeting of an assassination organization? Without any official support, just with a small group like this? What is the true goal of this mission? Xiao wore a terrifying smile, obviously, to destroy them. I'm really looking forward to the next event. Meanwhile, the Bestia Assassination Organization still has no idea about the horrible thing about to hit them. It's rare for everyone to be gathered today, isn't it? Stupid. Ghost and Saravan aren't here? That's already 2 people lost. The possibility that the brat ascended is very high. That's not even counting the rest of those traitors. Fools. The others were also surprised. They seemed like the type of people bold enough to betray the organization. Truly unexpected. Maybe we should just deal with them. Another assassin gripped their hair, anxious. Idiots. We were planning to go up there together. I will definitely take your life. A guy with a large scar on his mouth interrupted unpleasantly. Enough. The decision to deal with the traitors belongs to the boss. Another assassin felt nothing. Like the rest. What's wrong? I actually find these things interesting. Keep going. 3 people are missing from such an important meeting. Even I find it surprising. So does anyone else want to say anything? The others heard this and immediately went silent, not daring to make a peep. Seeing this, she twirled her 2 thumbs in a circle. How about we organize a death match to decide who gets to handle the traitors? The moment the words ended, the atmosphere became gloomy, quiet, with no movement. The person next to her saw this and told her to calm down, boss. Your jokes are terrible. You should stop. We can punish the traitors anytime. But the real issue is, what if they already knew the time and location of the meeting? What could those 2 nobodies even do? Do you think they'll just rush in here right now? Just as those words were finished, the alarm sounded. Alarm. Unknown movement detected at entrances 1 through 5. But the boss didn't seem shaken at all. Truly don't count your chickens before they hatch. Everyone knows the mission. As for me, they all stood up looking exhausted. There are 5 ways to enter the intruder's hideout. Everyone, take care of your own section. What a pain, seriously. And I'm wearing my new outfit today, too. There are only 3 of you left. Wrap it up quickly and come back. See you later. Wait. Understood, boss. Asai, what about you? Pokyubin, Black Mamba, you guys aren't joining? Join in? I'm perfectly happy enjoying this tea, and I have no interest in dealing with small fry. There are already enough people there anyway. I'm off to play a game. Pokyubin took out her phone and kept her eyes glued to it. Asai remarked to Mamba, now that I think about it, I should have told them to bring back their heads, to verify their identities. Honestly, this bunch is way too violent. Boss, the fact that you can keep them on a leash is impressive enough on its own. Although they considered themselves elite, they didn't know their conversation was being monitored by none other than Zonggu. He thought to himself that he hadn't even won a 50,001 lottery ticket in his entire life, yet now he had hit the jackpot with this. Ah, it turns out that 30 minutes ago, the whole group had arrived at the location for this meeting. This is Bestia's meeting hall. They really found a perfect hornet's nest. Ghost explained that there were 5 entrances in total, and each one had sensors to detect intruders. Because the interior layout changes frequently, we can't determine where each path leads. But these 5 routes are the only way out, and all of them lead back to the main hall where the targets are meeting. Regardless of which one we choose, we'll reach the hall. It's just a matter of how much time it takes. CO assigned the positions. Each of us takes one path. If we all go in the same direction, the targets might escape through another. Junggu, do you have your radio? Junggu frantically searched his bag. Yes, I do. Good then. We enter 1 person per path. Since they have sensors, assume they already know we're coming and are prepared. If you run into an opponent that's too strong, use the radio to report to me immediately and stall them as long as you can. Especially if the target named Mamba appears, report it instantly. Over. The people following CO replied in unison. Understood. Let's move out. Junggu hid behind a pillar, observing carefully. Everything seemed fine for now, but not long after he entered his assigned path, the way was blocked. So he looked for a way through the nearest ventilation shaft, easily moving deeper inside, and somehow even Junggu himself didn't know how. But he was the first one to reach the main hall without encountering a single battle. Did they not bother turning on the sensors on this route? Everyone here is at least A rank or higher. The security seems lax. But with the layout of these paths leading straight to the center like this, they don't need to defend. They just wait for the intruder to walk in and take them out on the spot. Right now, the guards have gone to check the entrances, meaning there are 5 battles happening at once. Even if they call for reinforcements now, they can't regroup right away. Maybe I should trim the enemy numbers myself. Thinking, he acted. Junggu took 2 small marbles out of his pocket. The marbles successfully caught the attention of the assassins. Pokyuban approached. A marble? Why is this in my pocket? The boss teased Pokyuban. Are you still playing with slot machines? Sorry, but I hit the jackpot yesterday. As soon as Pokyuban held the marble, it detonated instantly, leaving her no time to react. Just like that, Pokyuban lay still on the ground, motionless. Boss, I don't know if she just ascended to heaven, but Mamba stood up, looking annoyed. A nimble little rat has snuck in here. As soon as he finished speaking, another object fell. It was a grenade, and not just that. The pin had already been pulled. The grenade flew straight toward Mamba, who used his arm to block it. Decent ambush, but I don't like hide and seek. Mamba threw the grenade straight back toward Junggu. The explosion created a large hole in the ceiling. Junggu fell down immediately. Mamba and Junggu clashed, fighting each other. He had recognized him. You're a member of the HMS, a feral hunter. Junggu took off his backpack and set it aside to engage in combat with Mamba. But Junggu didn't pay attention to Mamba's words. He was very worried now. Damn it, I only took down 1, even after using specialized anti-terror magical grenades. They are still completely unharmed, especially that guy who looks like the leader. Something is off about him. He doesn't look like he's using any special abilities at all. Mamba held his head and sighed. You didn't come alone? So what? The traitors already ran to the HMS and spilled everything. Junggu gritted his teeth and replied cautiously, If that's true, so what? Mamba narrowed his eyes. I'd be impressed. Risking your life to leave an organization just to choose something even more useless than before? Junggu was annoyed by the way he spoke. Damn it! He delivered a powerful blow, but the guy blocked it. Junggu didn't stop. He used hidden weapons, aiming straight for Mamba's head. Asai sat still, enjoying this confrontation with a cup of tea. Oh, not bad at all. Junggu successfully managed to create a wound on Mamba's cheek. I almost forgot. Your ability is psychokinesis, right? Controlling things, isn't it? Junggu frantically grabbed more weapons. Damn it, his skin is too hard and his regeneration is too fast. He's just enhancing his body with mana, but his durability is insane. Well, that's enough for a warm-up. Mamba took out a set of sharp claws from under his coat and lunged straight at Junggu with a single strike. Mamba sent Junggu flying, slamming him hard against the wall until it cracked. Mamba approached. I didn't intend to leave fingerprints on internal organs, but since you've already started bleeding, I don't have much of a choice either. Boss, can I send him to heaven? Asai sipped his tea. Slowly now. Let me think. In the critical situation, Junggu took out his radio and called, This is Huang Junggu, currently engaging the target at the main hall. There are 2 of them, but before he could finish, Mamba kicked Junggu straight in the chest. Mamba stood with his hands on his hips and stomped on Junggu. You seem a bit slow, now who's going to come? Next, The HMCS branch manager? That traitor Ghost? Or that little wolf cub? Oh, or perhaps these hurried footsteps running to rescue Jong-gu. Mamba guessed that all of them, the three of them, had arrived quickly and coincidentally, appearing behind Mamba all at once. All of them? Just as Mamba finished speaking, everyone except Seo was right behind him. A loud explosion rang out, but Mamba dodged it nimbly. This is a bit surprising. I didn't expect you all to be able to get past the Bestia assassins so easily. They stood in front to shield the injured Jong-gu, and Mamba turned to ask the leader, I bet you're disappointed, aren't you? I actually thought I'd picked out a few decent ones, but I never expected them to be this weak. Asai sighed. Mamba was truly sharp-eyed. Still, something felt off. Based on the wounds, there had clearly been a skirmish. Haman rushed over to check on Jong-gu's condition. Mamba smashed the ground and hoisted them up, but I didn't think you lot could take down Tigray or Grizzly so easily. The concrete blocks crashed down with just a single kick from him. Haman couldn't take this guy's talk anymore. He lunged forward. You damn murderer, you've said way too much. He swung his fist straight at Mamba, but it didn't even faze him. Mamba gripped Haman's fist tightly. White Lion, you're the hunter Chu Haman, aren't you? Someone like you, why are you here instead of being with the HMS? Haman was tossed aside like a piece of cargo. Mamba intentionally threw him toward the critically injured Jong-gu. Haman tried to regain control but couldn't avoid it. Sorry. Meanwhile, Ghost and Vaughn were also starting to burn out. They sat on the ground gasping for air. Even looking at it, from any angle, it didn't make sense. You aren't acting like a team, you're just a chaotic mess thrown together. You're from completely different organizations, so why would you gather here? As expected, Mamba really is cunning. Who? Who was the one who gathered you all here? The scene shifted to another location, a familiar hand grabbing his head like a sack of trash, none other than Seo. He had taken down all the assassins without a single injury, not even a scratch. This bastard is looking down on White Lion's Haman? Hey, Jong-gu, snap out of it! Jong-gu struggled to stand, but how did you get here so fast? Haman explained. After hearing the radio, I rushed straight here. I wish I could say that, but actually, I was busy fighting someone near the entrance. But then the master suddenly appeared and ordered me to head straight to the center. Maybe Ghost and Vaughn ended up in similar situations. Anyway, before the master gets here, we have to hold this guy off. Vaughn grumbled, damn it, how are we supposed to suppress an A-rank awakened without killing him? And it's Mamba, of all people. Ghost was struggling to hold his ground too. The guy hadn't even used any skills yet. In this hall, something felt really wrong. Mamba is an awakened variant. In terms of speed and attack power, he's basically the second strongest in Bestia. But he doesn't have advanced detection or tracking skills. That means he must have prepared something in advance. Or maybe it's Asai, Bestia's leader. Her abilities are still a total mystery to me. Who knows what kind of card she'll play in her hand? Ghost drove his weapon into the ground. I'll handle the boss, you guys focus on suppressing Mamba! Vaughn shouted in anger. The dirty work always falls to me! Damn you, old man! Yet, there was an undeniable truth. Neither of them could be a match for Mamba. Looks like no one wants to answer my question, huh? Vaughn collapsed to the ground. Ghost was resolute. Until the master arrives, no one is leaving. Here. Ghost successfully set up a binding formation to hold them down. Chains tightened around Mamba. Haman seized the chance to strike his head. Even though Asai didn't want to, the chains had pinned her firmly to the chair. Really? You're actually going to force me to fight? Ghost stood outside, pointing his finger. Stay put. Asai, even for you, breaking out of a legendary grade binding formation won't be easy. Asai didn't look scared at all. Oh? Your new master seems very attentive, doesn't he? Preparing such heavy-duty stuff just for you? But isn't it a bit cold-hearted to flip sides and betray your organization like a coin toss? Because he was so focused on Asai, Ghost didn't notice that Pokyupin had recovered behind him. Right. By the time Ghost realized it, she was already right behind him. Ghost was sent flying. Vaughn rushed over to the old man. Jong-gu was confused. What just happened? She definitely should have been toast. Looks like wasting any more time on you lot is pointless. Mamba easily shattered the chains surrounding him, causing the ground to crack. We're actually very busy. I don't know when reinforcements will arrive, and I still have to clean up the remnants of this rotten organization. So you guys need to hand over your lives as soon as possible. Mamba's appearance had changed. This was the A++ grade Dragon Blood skill. A body transformation effect. The user becomes a venomous lizard type. The process continues until their mana is completely drained. Jong-gu wanted to help Hunter Haman. I'll provide support from a distance. But Haman warned, don't move, your ribs are broken. Besides, no matter how strong he is, he can't pierce through that clothing immediately. So just run. Something black whipped straight toward them from the very first impact. Haman recognized Mamba's mutation. It seemed similar to Vaughn's, but the mana density was way too high. And this haul, he's manipulating this ground as if it were part of his own body. In this situation, Haman knew he was nothing but a living punching bag. He had overwhelming stamina. Right now, he could only buy time, and the others were in just as much trouble, so relying on reinforcements was out of the question. Damn it, no one's ever told me I couldn't handle my own strength before. Mamba swung his fist, preparing to finish him off. A knife came from out of nowhere, aiming straight for Mamba's arm, but he didn't show any pain at all. In fact, the knife even burst into flames. Jong-gu couldn't believe it. Beside the fragmentation, he can even use elemental magic? Mamba has truly gone insane. He let out a roar, pushing everything around him away. He was sent flying back. A large concrete block fell freely, aimed straight for Jong-gu's head. Haman shouted, "Jong-gu, above you!" But Mamba sounded amused. You guys still have time to worry about each other? Haman startled and turned back. Mamba dug his sharp claws into the ground. In a flash, Mamba appeared right behind Jong-gu. Hunters on the righteous side always make the same mistake. They think ranks, skills, and mana levels, those numbers, will determine the outcome of a battle. You walked in here on your own 2 feet. Really thinking we didn't prepare defenses for our own headquarters? Mamba clamped his hand around Jong-gu's neck. On the other side, Asai had broken free from the containment. Ghost lay collapsed on one side, while Pokyupin kept attacking. Vaughn, hand over your life, you bastard, you damn traitor! The hall looked horrific now. The entire floor was rigged with self-destruct mechanisms, tracking systems, and defensive enhancements for emergencies. This is a snake pit. The moment you stepped inside, your fate was sealed. So don't be so naive anymore. Just hand over your lives peacefully. Jong-gu tried to fight back, but suddenly a bolt of lightning streaked past Mamba's head. He sensed killing intent. Mamba quickly dodged, but in front of him was only a trail of white smoke. A familiar figure flashed past at lightning speed. It was none other than Seo. He had simply and easily suppressed Mamba. Finally, I've found you. Found you, you son of a bitch! Seo's face was radiating such murderous intent, he looked just like a demon. Seo lunged forward at terrifying speed, pinning Mamba against the door, searching. Found you, you venomous snake! Pokyupin had no idea who this guy was, and yet he possesses such monstrous power. She lunged forward. Who are you? Even from quite a distance, Seo easily took down Pokyupin with a single blow. Asai stood at the edge of the chasm. No way, you. Did you just neutralize all the magic in this entire area? Seo watched without saying a word. Frey spoke up. This is doable, only because I'm helping. He's not that good on his own. Asai seemed intrigued. Impressive, really. This facility cost tens of millions to build, and you just turned it into a pile of trash in the blink of an eye. Mamba hadn't passed out yet. Seo's appearance had surprised him at first, but now he understood. Seo stepped back, dodging. Avoiding the lethal attacks, Mamba assumed he was the suspect who wiped out the Bestia assassins and gathered this group. Suspect? You're the one who's the suspect. You idiot! Seo grabbed his head and cursed. Asai also felt puzzled. Hey, I think he came here for you, Mamba. What did you do? Mamba tried to recall. No way. Captain, I was just carrying out my mission. But from what he said, it sounded like a revenge plot. Mamba voiced his suspicion. Obviously, he never left behind any traces after killing a target, but how? So you still tracked me down? Seo said nothing much. His hands began weaving magic. Revenge, huh? I need to know one thing first. Rocks from the surroundings closed in, trapping Mamba. Asai tried to move in to stop him, but was restrained by Ghost with his staff. Don't move. You want to hear something? The assassin's side isn't what it used to be. Pokepin is passed out and Asai is being surrounded. Asai raised her hands in surrender. Haha, I didn't mean to make you tense. What makes you so loyal to him? She was genuinely curious about the person in front of her, with that terrifying power. Who are you? Lightning bolts erupted from the magic circle, growing in intensity. Mamba tried to resist. Damn it! The buffs I cast earlier are being reflected back at me. Me? Mamba couldn't understand how he could identify him. Could he be a scout? His attack speed couldn't be compared to a warrior-class hunter. Suddenly, a kick straight to Mamba's chest sent him crashing hard like a lizard clinging to a wall. Mamba coughed up blood, reverting to his original form. I've never met anyone like you in my life. I pride myself on knowing almost every high-level hunter, so who on earth are you? He secretly activated his magic. What do you want from me? A large amount of shadows spread out, but out of nowhere, Sio appeared right above Mamba's head. I think you're misunderstanding the situation here. I'm the one asking the questions, not you. Don't you realize? I'm being very careful with you right now. Sio used his foot to stomp Mamba's head into the ground. Sio stomped repeatedly on Mamba's head without finishing him off. I could take your life right here, so just stay still until I tell you that you can move. Mamba truly had no strength left. He lay motionless on the ground. Don't, Sio grabbed Mamba by the neck and lifted him higher than the VIP. Ugh, Sio growled, his face filled with murderous intent as he interrogated, Who hired you to kill Jung Min Jun? Images of the archaeologist Jung Min Jun flashed through Mamba's mind. He was a bit surprised, but the corner of his mouth twitched. He laughed. Ha ha, so you're connected to Min Jun? Speak. I thought you wanted to live. Sio got straight to the point. Mamba grabbed Sio's arm. Of course I'll talk, but even if I talk... He opened his mouth with sharp teeth and flicked his tongue. Out with a magic sigil on it, you won't be able to hear it? Anyway, because your ears will melt off. He spat poison directly into Sio's face. Mamba thought he had succeeded. Ha ha. Assassins can't reveal client information. Sio coughed violently in annoyance. Did you just spit on my face? His patience had hit its limit. So you don't intend to have a serious conversation, huh? Then I'll make you want to talk. Mamba couldn't believe it. Self-regeneration skills? Could he be a healer? He couldn't escape. Mamba turned to beg Asai, Captain. But Asai couldn't do anything at the moment. Sorry, I'm being surrounded too. This time, Mamba was truly terrified by the power of the person in front of him. I'll talk. The client is Pandemonium, but before he could finish, Sio struck him down brutally. Sio had already guessed it was Pandemonium. He sat quietly, deep in thought. Suddenly, the leader Asai opened her glowing red eyes and laughed like a madwoman. With just a snap of her fingers, those surrounding her were knocked out. Asai took off her cloak hood. Now I know who you are. You are the first-generation hunter who disappeared 10 years ago, Mad Dog. Sio frowned and asked, Are you with Pandemonium too? Asai acted friendly. Ha ha, no way. My group is full of assassins. We don't take personal requests. Assassins are just tools. I realized it from your power and how you knew about Pandemonium. She used to tell me about a first-generation hunter who used weird regeneration skills. Sio wiped the blood off his face. So you really don't know anything? Don't lie. I'll find out myself. Asai stepped back as black clouds appeared from nowhere. I'm not lying. You found me, so your question has been answered, but it's strange. Why did we all forget about your existence? That has nothing to do with me. Hey, Pokeyupin, get up. Hearing her leader's call, Pokeyupin, who had been unconscious, suddenly bolted up. An explosion occurred. Dust filled the room, obscuring vision. Asai and Pokeyupin were already hoverings in the air. Are you planning to chase me, Mad Dog? Sio put his hands in his pockets. I don't need to do that. I already know what to do next. Asai grinned eerily. Well, I'll see you again. She opened a portal and escaped the scene with Pokeyupin. Haman ran over, puzzled. Boss, you're letting them go just like that? Sio knew. If we chase them, they'll trigger the destruction magic already set on the floor. Everyone here doesn't have the strength to dodge it. We have what we need. Clean up the scene. Junggu cried. Being a wage slave is really something. Meanwhile, Sio was still repeating two names in his head, Pandemonium, Minjun. He had discovered what was going on. Sio silently looked at Mamba's corpse. After finishing the job at the Bestia assassination organization, Seo returned home. He started searching for information on the internet about the name Pandemonium. As you recall, the first portal opened on Earth 20 years ago, and all sorts of things poured into this world. All sources of mana, monsters, magic stones, and demons. This is a race from another dimension with the innate ability to manipulate mana and possess skills. Unique, much like human awakeners. They infiltrated Earth during the initial chaos caused by the first gates and assimilated. Very clever. And they didn't just claim sovereignty over the gates as overseers from a higher dimension. They also took full control of all Opir, national activities regarding the gates. They treated humanity as an inferior race, stripping away their technology and civilization after mana and monsters brought everything to a standstill. They built fortresses of magic castles right in the middle of the continent and held exclusive rights to all the gates that sprouted on Earth. That was when they started acting like they were the true masters here. Among humanity, there was a group of people who swore loyalty to the Demon King, a pathetic organization called Pandemonium. Fortunately, the demon's tyranny didn't last. The first generation of hunters, those who learned how to use mana, stood up against them. A war broke out between humanity and the demons who held control over Earth. In the end, humanity won, and put an end to the chaos. It's been 10 years since you defeated the Demon King and vanished into a spatial rift. Pandemonium had already dissolved before that, so why is that name resurfacing now? Siwoo called out to Frey, and it answered him. Demons also exist in that other world we were in, right? But they looked a bit different. Freya admitted that was true because out of all the species it had ever encountered, demons had the greatest influence across dimensions. Even there, they enslaved dragons, dominated lesser creatures, and exploited them. So no matter which world they go to, they act like thugs, huh? When Siwoo asked about this, Freya wasn't sure because it still hadn't regained any memories from before it met him in that world. But it did have a lingering memory that they had stolen something of its. However, after dealing with demons for 100 years in that world, it could tell they were exactly the type to do such a thing. Siwoo tiredly scratched his head. Right now, they didn't have enough information. 10 years ago, you were busy wiping them out, so you didn't have time to track down their origins. And in that world, they only encountered the small fry. They were mostly focused on survival. All you know is that their mana patterns are different from humans. Compared to 10 years ago, they've gotten better at disguising themselves as humans. Frey was also skeptical. What else are you thinking about? Just wipe them all out and that's it. Siwoo used his foot to turn off the computer. That action is just like me. Assuming it's that simple, then why talk about anything else? Suddenly, a familiar figure opened the door and walked into the room. Seeing this person walk in, Siwoo didn't look like it was an unexpected meeting at all. Oh, you're early. It was Siwoo's younger brother, Sejun. His expression looked a bit confused. Suddenly, you told me to rent an office, so I kept thinking, I wonder what kind of trouble you're causing this time. What is this? Nothing much, just tracking some trails. But Sejun was sharp enough to realize, is that really all? Ah, the captain told me you wiped out an assassin organization that hunts hunters. Don't tell me the office is to gather those involved in that, and ultimately, who exactly did you bring that you had to keep it secret from the guild and the association? Sejun sat down wearily, looking at his mad dog of an older brother. I've said it 1,000,000 times. We can't handle it. If Daesu finds out, we're done for. Siwoo pouted, cursing the big-mouthed Jonggu under his breath. Siwoo reassured his brother, don't worry. Jonggu has wiped away all traces related to me. As for Daesu, I'll go see him, myself. Sejun couldn't believe it. What did you say? Siwoo explained. Because there are too many loopholes. If I step forward directly, he won't be able to pull any stupid tricks. Hearing his older brother say that gave Sejun a headache, but you haven't even fully recovered yet. I can't stop you, but don't be so reckless. 10 years have passed. The world has changed a lot. If you fall into danger again, Siwoo walked behind him, pulling him close and rubbing Sejun's head. I said I'd handle it. What are you worried about? Cut it out. Stop nagging. Sejun swiped his hand away. Whatever. You have to keep that promise. Are you going to train our guild's rookies in exchange for the office? You remember Hunter Jisoo, right? Turns out her awakening skill is more complex than we thought. If you could take a look at it, that would be great. Siwoo lazily scratched his ear. Okay, of course I'll do it. Now let's go eat something. I'm hungry. His stomach growling loudly made Sejun feel creeped out. Right now? You just had dinner, didn't you? Does your stomach contain a black hole? Freya said it also felt hungry. Feed it, the food source. Eating Siwoo's reserve mana was pathetic, so bring some fried chicken here. Siwoo blamed Freya. Clearly, it was the reason both of them were starving. Suddenly, the ring of the phone rang. Siwoo picked it up. It was Jongwoo. He asked him, "Senior, do you really have to erase your name from all mission reports?" Siwoo got angry. "Hey, watch your mouth! You already snitched to my brother, didn't you?" "Do you want to be taken out?" Jongwoo shouted. "No, that's not the point, but do you realize how big this incident is? This is the first time an assassin group specialized in hunting hunters has surfaced, and now the Inspection Bureau has wiped them out alone. Every news agency is bombing them with requests for cooperation and interviews. Everyone at the office is in chaos because there are hundreds of calls coming in. Yes, we will handle that issue because we are an official investigative agency and spokesperson. That's not the problem. Also, you realize how closely the director has been watching your team ever since the Gert incident, right? Thanks to you erasing your name from the rep. Or, only he is left, so at least you get all the credit. Good, right?" Little did Siwoo know, Jongwoo on the other end was disheveled. Credit? This isn't about credit. How am I supposed to explain taking out an entire army of assassins by myself? Siwoo didn't care at all. "I don't know. As long as your story matches with the White Lions, that's fine. Didn't Hamid come from that team?" Jongwoo already asked them. Even the guildmaster of the White Lions is completely... Suddenly, there was another call. "Yes, this is Captain Jongwoo," Jongwoo cried, begging him to understand the desire to protect the brother of the guildmaster of the Empire, but due to the previous prison break incident, it would be better if you stepped up. And Siwoo interrupted, but didn't necessarily agree. "You need to eat first. Good luck with that. See you tomorrow." Siwoo coldly hung up, not letting Jongwoo finish his sentence. Siwoo stepped out of the room, complaining, "Honestly, this guy and that guy, Sai-jun, who's in the kitchen making food, who is he?" "Captain Jongwoo," Siwoo replied, sinking wearily onto the sofa. "Oh, he loves his job. He's incredibly happy." Siwoo suddenly remembered something and turned to ask his brother. "Oh, and by the way, Sai-jun, how is the situation with the demons lately? Still the same as 10 years ago?" Sai-jun explained, "No, actually, after the 4 heavenly demon kings disappeared, the demons themselves proposed a peace treaty. After agreeing to it, they mainly stationed themselves in the polar regions and established research institutes to study the mana that has seeped into Earth. Aside from that, they haven't caused any major trouble. Some countries even collaborate with them on research sometimes. But the demons almost never leave the polar regions. It's been a long time since they last appeared on the front lines. Nowadays, many kids even think demons are just urban legends. You understand as soon as you hear it." Siwoo's expression changed instantly. "A peace treaty?" Siwoo felt like it sounded like utter nonsense. Demons and peace in the same sentence? It's laughable. Frey felt the same way, but look at humans. Among us, there are plenty of scumbags, so demons can't all be the same, right? Asai uses mana the same way demons do, but there's something strange about it. Could it be that she's a half-demon? Since demons first appeared on Earth 20 years ago, it's not impossible. Siwoo picked up the photo to look closely at the faces in it. "All of this stems from your desire to avenge Minjun. But as you keep following the traces Minjun left behind, you can't tell if it's the past or the present, and this silhouette, standing in front of the demon research facility, makes Siwoo feel like this war is going to last much longer than expected. The person setting foot here is none other than Minjun. Could he still be alive?" The new office was fully equipped with all the essentials. Siwoo instructed the people he had recruited, channel the mana in your body and focus. Think about your donjon in your mind. Hamid's head was a jumbled mess. "Donjon? What on earth is a donjon?" Confused, Hamid spoke up. "Master, even if you say that, I still don't understand. Isn't awakening a skill something that just explodes when your adrenaline spikes? Even if I sit here meditating for a long time, I don't think it'll help my output one bit. Wouldn't physical activity and disciplined training be better instead?" Siwoo smacked Vaughn straight on the head for dozing off. "You guys begged me to train you, and now that I am, you're complaining?" Siwoo sighed and explained. "Do you think skills are like sweat? Do you think you just pour some out and then it dries up? Honestly, no one these days cares about mana control. Everyone just aims and fires wildly. Vaughn argued back, but if that shot is overwhelmingly powerful, don't we not need to worry about these complicated things? What? Sai Yu frowned in annoyance. That's because of those guidance towers, isn't it? Awakening skills inside an artificial portal must have given you guys the wrong idea. We burn mana like fuel to actually act upon the power we've created. If you can't even master basic mana manipulation, how can you expect to feel your donjon while using skills so recklessly? Ghost fell silent and nodded in agreement. All right, I'm only going to explain this once, so listen carefully. When humanity first came into contact with mana, a reservoir was formed within them. That is called the donjon. Mana gathers and flows into the donjon, creating the power of awakening, which manifests as each person's unique skill. The power of the skill depends on how well you control the mana in your donjon. Through training your donjon, you will grow, allowing you to contain higher levels of mana. You can even open more donjon in your body. But from your perspective, humans have only known about mana for over 20 years, right? It's still new, so understanding it is even more important. Hamid looked at the power in his hands. Perspective, you say? So training mana control through meditation is the best method. Now shut your mouth and focus. Frey found it amusing. A guy who's been running around like a headless chicken for 100 years sure talks big. Sai Yu told them not to worry. Tomorrow he would push their bodies to the brink of death again. Especially you two. Don't think that just because you're tied down, I'll go easy on you. You have to work until your bones crumble until you've paid off your debts. Ghost and Vaughn were as obedient as puppies. Suddenly the door opened. Senior, I knew you were here. You didn't even answer your phone. Do you have any idea how hard I looked for you? It turned out to be Jong-woo. Sai Yu pouted. That's because you call like a stalker. Jong-woo looked truly haggard now. Anyway, you need to get to headquarters right away. The branch manager has summoned you. HMC certainly lives up to its name. The workplace looks like it's loaded with money. Everyone here was working non-stop and everyone looked busy. Sai Yu had followed Jong-woo. He wondered why the branch manager summoned me. Did you drag my name into this? Jong-woo quickly replied, of course not. He didn't, no for sure, but it might be related to the prison transport corruption case in Incheon. Suddenly, two people blocked their path. Well, look who it is, Captain Jong-woo. I heard you pulled off. A big job, huh? While we were away, has the North Seoul Daejin become a new hotshot? What kind of magic tricks did you use? It turned out to be Chang-woon and Juntae. Jong-woo looked extremely annoyed upon seeing them. That bastard Chang-woon, he's already done with his work? This made Sai Yu, standing beside him, feel that something was off. Jong-woo tried to shoo them away. If you're done, go back to work. Why are you picking a fight with people? Picking a fight just by walking past? No, just checking on a friend. No need to get so emotional. Let's see, is that the rookie behind you? I heard you caused a huge mess in Incheon. Does North Seoul always recruit people like that? Your captain has weird tastes. But these words meant nothing to Sai Yu because he couldn't care less. I don't know what this guy did to Jong-woo in the past to make such an easygoing guy so annoyed. That's enough, Chang-woon. Do you have that much free time to spout nonsense? Juntae spoke up from behind. Our mission is in Japan. We don't have time for nonsense. They've never been abroad, so they must be pretty frustrated, right? The Gangnam team gets called all over the world, while they have to work overtime and still lose track of low-level fugitives. Hearing these mocking words made Jong-woo even angrier, while Sai Yu was just scrolling through his phone, as this had nothing to do with him. But the protagonist's aura shone upon him. Hey, you rookie. Look, no matter which team you're on, we're still your seniors. Don't you know how to introduce yourself? No manners? Shouldn't you at least say hello? Juntae pushed up his glasses, acting all high and mighty. Whatever, I hate these types. Seo, living up to his mad dog reputation, pointed a finger right at his glasses, pretending to adjust them. Greetings? Why don't he and his smelly boss just drop dead? Moving? He's really going to stand there adjusting his glasses, blocking the entire hallway with his bulky, oversized frame. Don't you see the path is blocked? Are those glasses just for show? The two were fuming but couldn't say a word. They finally spoke up. Juntae's hand was shaking as he adjusted his glasses. He was so humiliated he forgot to put his hand down. He was about to lunge forward to teach Seo a lesson. Let me teach this crazy rookie a lesson. But someone spoke up. Juntae, Jong-woo. His voice was cold and threatening. Are you out of your mind? This is headquarters. Try to distinguish between work and play. Chang-woon chimed in. What kind of nonsense is this? Who do you think you are to lecture my subordinates? Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what that rookie bastard is spouting nonsense? Jong-woo turned to Seo. I didn't hear anything. Really? What's the matter, Junior? Oh, it must be all that fat clogging his ears. Chang-woon was livid. Are these idiots all out of their minds? Fine. Since the headquarters staff is watching, should I stop holding back and just shove you guys back into your place? People started whispering and gossiping when they heard the conversation between the two sides. Chang-woon, still oblivious, shouted, I'll let you know who really runs the management bureau here. Suddenly, a hand landed on his shoulder. Sorry, Chang-woon, but I am the one who runs this place. It was branch director Gunho. Chang-woon turned around, his face drenched in sweat, all his confidence vanished. Both of them turned pale. Jun-T was so terrified his glasses even cracked. Branch Director Gunho ignored the two of them and walked straight to Seo. Hunter. Seo, I was wondering why you hadn't arrived. So you were stuck here, Jong-woo? You should have handled this quickly and arrived sooner. Jong-woo bowed to apologize, while the other two were completely ignored and couldn't even pretend to act tough anymore. Director Gunho draped an arm around Seo's shoulder. Hunter Seo, do you like camellia tea? Today, we have an important guest, so I prepared some special tea. Seo replied, that's fine. Just then, Chang-woon came to his senses and still didn't want to let it go. Wait, Director Gunho? Before the bastard could finish, Director Gunho cut him off. Listen, Hunter Chang-woon, I've heard rumors that you requested services beyond your official duties during the mission in Japan. If you want power, at least try to focus on your own work first. Move on. Don't waste time on meaningless things. Despite the smile on the director's face, his words were nothing but a threat to Chang-woon. The two guys who were so arrogant just moments ago and proud of being able to go abroad to work were now silent, not daring to utter a single word. These two waited until they were far away before daring to speak. Damn it, who is that rookie? Who is backing him that even Director Gunho would intervene? I don't know, Branch. Director Gunho took Seo into his office. This is the first time we've met in person, right, Hunter Seo? You've been extremely busy since you joined. Looking at how he was being treated, he seemed to hold Seo in high regard. Seo looked at Jong-woo, who was sitting across from him looking tense. Oh, I guess so. So, why exactly did you call me here? Gunho laughed. Ha ha ha, I like that. Straight to the point. Very refreshing. All right, the reason I called you here is simple. I want to ask about the Incheon prison incident. Hearing about that case, Jong-woo seemed quite startled. Branch Director Gunho continued, coincidentally, thanks to the Bestia case, the investigation authority has been transferred to us. Furthermore, an investigation into corruption at Incheon prison is also underway. But that doesn't mean we can overlook the escaped prisoner. So tell me, Hunter Seo, someone strong enough to defeat Asai wouldn't let a fugitive slip away, would they? Are you sure you don't know where the fugitive is? Seo looked straight at Jong-woo. The atmosphere in the room was tense. Branch Director Gunho turned to Jong-woo. Could you step outside for a moment? Jong-woo hurriedly stood up. Yes, sir. Even so, when he reached the door, Jong-woo still secretly begged his junior, I'm sorry. After Jong-woo stepped out, Gunho was even more direct in his questioning. Hunter Seo, I'm not being rigid anymore. I've known Hunter Jong-woo for a long time and he's very capable. But taking down an entire assassination organization alone? That's hard to believe. The collapse of the Bestia Hunter assassination group, the fugitive must have had something to do with them, right? You must have discovered something during the transport. You know, this is a major case. If the fugitive provides information about the organization, we might consider leniency. But regardless, we cannot ignore a runaway awakened criminal who is already on file with the Hunter Investigation Bureau, especially when a newcomer with an unclear background like you is involved. That's why I contacted an old friend for advice, and it turns out he knows you very well. Seo sat still but looked puzzled. Seo turned around. Me? Who are you talking about? This is a living legend from the first generation of hunters, one of the 3 pillars of Korea. A pair of shiny white leather shoes stepped into the office. This person was the president of the War Guild, Hunter Kyung-ho. They moved to another location to talk more easily. How many years has it been? I wasn't even sure, even after Gun-Ho told me. I thought you were long gone. Sue explained that there had been some trouble. You look so old now, Frey. Who is this friendly guy? I am a first-generation hunter and one of the 3 pillars. The magic sword. He was by my side back then. Kyung-Ho laughed. Ha ha, I'm not old. It's you who haven't aged. You disappeared for 10 years and came back looking exactly the same. You're old but still look handsome. But where have you been all this time? Your followers have been searching for you everywhere. Seo leisurely enjoyed the drink in his hand and changed the subject. How about we order another bottle? I think we have a lot of catching up to do. It turned out to be a reunion of old friends, after Seo recounted the story. So that's it. You were gone for 100 years. That doesn't actually surprise me, but I can't believe you spent that much time there. Seo picked up some food from the table. That's right. A spatial spell was cast on me. As soon as the Demon King perished, I don't know. Was that intentional? No. The Demon King is still alive, Kyung-Ho interrupted. Can you believe what he's saying? Seo couldn't believe his ears, his expression shifting instantly. What? He's still alive? Then how could you idiots sign a peace treaty with those monsters? Seo demanded, furious. Slamming his hand on the table, he barked, Are you all out of your minds? How can you even trust them? Kyung-Ho replied, Seo, calm down. Just hear me out. He's alive, but only in fragments. Kyung-Ho began to recount the past, back then the conflict between humans and demons was intense, but after you defeated the Demon King, they offered a peace treaty. They claimed the war was the Demon King's idea, not the intention of their entire race. Seo thought it was absolute nonsense. They were just terrified after seeing him crush the Demon King. Kyung-Ho conceded. Yeah, maybe, but our situation wasn't exactly great either. After the first gates appeared, the world spiraled into chaos. We nearly managed to close them, but the awakened hunters had gone berserk, and the war with the demons had left everyone completely exhausted. In that desperate state, the demons proposed a peace treaty. They offered us a way to close the gates. In exchange, they wanted the remnants of the Demon King and a piece of land to inhabit until they could return to their own dimension. That was back when gates and mana were still mysteries to us. Everyone thought the best thing for humanity was to adapt to this new power, so we accepted. They made the offer, and the top hunters representing their nations agreed to sign the treaty. Choi Dae-soo was the representative for Korea. The demons never caused trouble or left their territory, unless we called upon them. Some first-generation hunters hated the treaty, but since you were gone, they just went their own way. Since the world is stable now, people pay very little attention to the demons. Kyung-Ho admitted that he didn't really care about them either, but the way you returned made him suspicious. Seo was confused. Suspicious of what? You, the mad dog Min Seo, staring back with an expressionless, slightly blank face. All records of you have vanished over the last 10 years, and there are even rumors that Dae-soo had a hand in that. They erased you so thoroughly that even second-generation hunters don't know your name. Seo recounted the past, even to Kyung-Ho, who didn't even remember what Seo looked like. Ever since that day, the two of them had fought together in a trio, so it couldn't be a coincidence that you were forgotten for 10 years. Seo swirled his glass. Do you think there's a secret between the demons and Dae-soo? After a moment of thought, it's possible. He'd do anything to defeat you. Hearing this, Frey couldn't help but get angry. Those damn demons. Seo was lost in thought, working. With demons just to get rid of me? With his pride? Seo wondered. But why would those demons want to erase me? Just because I defeated the Demon King? That's not a strong enough reason. There must be some massive ulterior motive for them to team up. Like Kyung-Ho said, ever since then the demons haven't done a thing. They actually helped humanity get used to mana. We had no real reason to blame them. It really was the perfect cover. The more Seo heard, the angrier he got. The war would never have happened if they didn't look down on us as inferior. Kyung-Ho didn't know what to say, but they were pulled into the gates anyway. And by that, I mean Kyung-Ho offered a suggestion. I think your followers would know better than I do. Why don't you go meet them? Seo froze at the mention of that, but according to what Kyung-Ho said, hadn't they all disbanded by now? Kyung-Ho sighed wearily. Ha! Isn't Yuhua still in Korea? 10 years ago, she was just a kid, but now she's an S-rank hunter and the leader of the Blue Flower Guild. Back in the day, I remember she used to stick to you like glue. Now she works for Dessou. 10 years is a really long time. She must have her reasons. Seo drank his entire glass of wine in one go without a word. After setting the glass down, Seo felt it tasted like crap. Kyung-ho pointed right at his face and said, "That's because your palate is still unrefined. That wine is really expensive, buddy." I should have invited Sai-jun, too. Seo hurriedly stopped him. "No, he'd go crazy if he knew I met you. He's way too protective." Their light-hearted conversation was being watched and secretly photographed by someone. The guy taking the photos hurriedly called to report, "Chairman, I just sent you the photo. The person meeting with Kyung-ho, I think he's also from the management bureau. The person on the other end confirmed the photo and gave an order. All right, you can head back now. You don't need me to tell you who this is just by looking at that silhouette, right? Speak of the devil and he shall appear. No, it's none other than Yuhua." She didn't seem surprised when she looked at the photo sent to her phone.
Min-seo, so he really is still alive.
Yuhua stared intently at the photo on her phone. Based on her observations of the Imperial Guild's recent moves and the tower incident, she wasn't sure, but after seeing this photo, Yuhua could confirm that Seo had truly returned. Her legs gave out, and she collapsed to the ground. Then Yuhua sobbed like a child. "Master." Yuhua recalled the time before she worked for Dessou, when Si-jun wouldn't even give her the time of day. Keeping an eye on Kyung-ho was the right move. Everyone said Seo had died, but she never gave up. She couldn't find him anywhere in the world. Yet now, Seo had reappeared in Korea just like in the old days, something only her master could do. Looking at the way Yuhua cherished the photo, you could see how much she treasured Seo. Yuhua pulled herself together. She couldn't be sad like this. She didn't have time. She had to go see him immediately. But just as Yuhua was about to leave, a familiar voice echoed, making her shudder. "Yuhua!" It was none other than that bastard Dessou. Yuhua turned around. "Boss, I told you, when it's just the two of us, you can just call me by name. What are you in such a hurry for?" Yuhua stood frozen, unable to move. She trembled while holding the phone in her hand, perhaps afraid that the secret of Seo's return would be discovered. "It's nothing, just..." Dessou stepped closer and grabbed Yuhua's shoulder. "It's nothing? You never even had an expression like this when your mother passed away. You didn't even show that then." He must have returned. Yuhua's face went completely pale. It was none other than the person Dessou had guessed. The mad dog Min-seo. This guy is truly too sharp. He must have really returned the mad dog Min-seo. Hearing this, Yuhua's face turned deathly pale. "So that's why you scurried over here like a dog looking for its master?" Dessou sighed, his motives unreadable, and gently stroked Yoa's head. "Yoa, my dear, you're still so naive and foolish. Even if you chose to abandon your own bloodline, you are still the only niece I have. The only daughter of my younger sister. There's no way I'd let you go that easily." Yoa tried to hold back, even though she was so disgusted that the veins in her neck began to bulge. She swatted Dessou's filthy hand away. "Don't get the wrong idea just because I volunteered to work for you. From the very beginning, my only goal has been to find my master. Do you think I didn't know that?" Dessou smirked. "You approached me believing I was involved in Seo's disappearance. I knew perfectly well that you were pretending to obey while secretly digging for top-secret information about Seo. When I took you in, the reason was simple. A hunter of your caliber is quite valuable. Yohua, you couldn't believe it." "What? What did you say?" She couldn't even get a word in. In this day and age, hunters are considered valuable financial assets. Did you really think I'd just hand over a useful worker, let alone my own flesh and blood, to that bastard? Yoa snapped. "Don't make me laugh. You abandoned me when I needed you most. What right do you have now? I've never considered you family. The person who actually raised me is my master." "Right, and he has no idea you're the daughter of a vile criminal." This statement cut like a knife into Yoa's heart. She couldn't argue back, because it was true. Dessou walked past her. "Don't be so foolish, Yohua. You've been by Seo's side observing him for so long, you know how ruthless he is toward criminals. Do you think he will react when he finds out about your past? No matter how noble he tries to act, you can never change your roots. Yoa stood frozen as if struck by lightning. She clenched her fists, unable to retort or express her frustration. Only Yoa remained in the massive hallway. Standing there, she didn't even dare to speak out loud. That bastard. At the training ground, everyone was busy with their tasks. Jisoo scratched her cheek, looking embarrassed. Hunter Siu, I heard from the guildmaster that you would personally lead our training today. But are these people participating too? Jisoo was referring to Ghost and someone panting heavily, nearly suffocating inside a pink bear suit. Seo introduced them. Ah, these are my subordinates. No, I mean my juniors. Maybe you can also learn something from them. Just consider them your seniors in terms of experience. It turned out the person in that adorable suit was Vaughn. He had to do that, to hide his face. But it was honestly way too hot inside. The two of them bowed to introduce themselves. I see. I look forward to working with you. I'm Hunter Jisoo from the Imperial Guild. And I am Hunter Winks from the Imperial Guild. They looked over at Old Man Ghost. Wow, I've never seen a hunter so old. His presence is no joke. The look on his face was terrifying, but right after the old monk turned cheerful and looked quite friendly. Oh my, I look forward to working with you as well. You'll be a big help. This young lady looks smart too. She must be a quick learner. Ghost successfully won Jisoo over. Yes, I will try my very best to learn. The two of them chatted away. With Vaughn, training with you guys feels more like community service. If you mess up, you could lose your lives, you know? They were confused by this threat. Do you think I took a mana oath just for fun? If I mess up, my head is coming off. Everyone knows that. The important thing is to be sincere and pay off the debt. Yeah, I know already. Stop looking at me with those scary eyes. Seo led everyone straight toward the gate. All right, let's get started. This is the entrance to an F-rank gate. Jisoo followed closely behind Seo. I'm so nervous. Seriously. Because of the unique nature of my skills, this is my first time entering a gate since the tutorial levels. Seo told her she didn't need to be nervous. Gates are just connecting points between dimensions. They're nothing more than doors. Nothing more. Vincook was a bit worried because there had been cases of people going missing because they didn't exit before the gate closed. They call that being eaten by the gate. Seo found it ridiculous. Eaten? It's just a door closing. Ghost actually had quite a lot of knowledge. Exactly. Up until now, humans have basically seized the keys to these doors. The fact that private guilds own their own gates is proof of that, if nothing else. What used to be a catastrophe, gates are now nothing more than a lucrative business. Monastones, monster cores, carcasses, it's all money. If you're scared before you even start, you won't make anything. Stepping through the door, it was a completely different world. It looked like they had arrived in a forest. It was hard to believe that stepping through a door could change the scenery so drastically. Jisoo and Vincook were extremely amazed by this new experience. However, Jisoo had some trouble after stepping through the gate. She felt dizzy. Could this be gate sickness? Vincook looked around carefully. Unlike the tower, this entry area had no monsters. Seo turned to Vaughn. Anyone looking at us would think we're on a picnic. Are kids these days all like this? I heard there are even hunter academies now. What on earth do they even teach there? Vaughn replied, Master, I know you come from the first generation, but because gate tactics have been standardized since May 1st, hunting has basically become a profession with a fixed curriculum. They go through the ranked tutorial tower, and then guilds recruit them based on their scores. They learn and gain practical combat experience after joining a guild. Seo was puzzled. Practical combat? You mean cleaning up the monsters in an F-rank gate? Sounds like mass production. A bunch of weaklings will be wiped out by a single massive wave. Seo called to the recruits. Before we enter real combat, show me your skills. Jisoo. She looked quite confident. Yes. But Vincook was still not convinced. He thought they were complying because the guildmaster had ordered it. But who the hell was this guy? And why was an outsider telling them what to do? Being stuck in a group with a rookie who couldn't even operate her skills properly was just absurd. Jisoo braced herself. Done. Jisoo thought she had pulled it off, and she was thrilled to witness her own results. But before she could even celebrate, a massive explosion blew Jisoo away. Seo growled, Hey, Hunter Jisoo. Jisoo sat on the ground, fortunately uninjured, and hurriedly apologized. Forget about apologizing. Seo threw an item to Jisoo. Here, take this. Jisoo looked confused, holding the item Seo had given her. Isn't this a whip? Seo explained. This is an auxiliary tool to initiate complex spell patterns. The more complex, the more effective it is. I've already heard from Saijun about your unique condition. Use this as a catalyst and try again. Jisoo obeyed, standing up while holding the whip. Let's try this one more time. This time, watching Jisoo perform, it looked a bit less difficult than before. Suddenly, there were rustling sounds all around that caught Vincook's attention. When he looked up, a whole pack of goblins had appeared right above them. Vincook shouted to warn everyone, but Seo wasn't worried at all. He felt it was perfect. Why don't you hurry up and take them down? Vincook turned around, surprised. What? Me? Seo replied. Who else? You're the one training here, or did you want me to do it for you? Ugh, fine, do whatever you want, just don't get yourself killed. Winook was panicking. This was probably his first time in a real fight. Ghost had spotted a tracking-type skill. Ah, that's a tough one to master. At best, it's only a B+ rank. Frey also felt that the guy's skill didn't look very useful. The effects were flashy, but the impact was non-existent. Go watched closely as Vincook fought the goblins, thinking that if he kept spamming skills like that, he would run out of mana in no time. Enough! At this moment, Vincook was struggling immensely. Basically, goblins are easy monsters to handle, but making a rookie deal with a whole pack alone. What kind of training? Is this hellish drill? Winook was about to collapse, and he screamed, Hunter Jisoo, are you done yet? Jisoo on the other side was still carefree, almost there. Suddenly, the magic circle. Winook was using vanished, and he fell to the ground. Just as Ghost had expected, it was time for Winook to run out of mana. A goblin seized the opportunity and threw an axe straight at him. Luckily, just in time, Jisoo successfully tamed the monster. As soon as she finished speaking, the goblin stood still like a statue. This was the taming skill, an A+ rank ability. The description allows the caster to control the monster's actions for about 10 minutes. The duration and the number of monsters that can be controlled, and their rank increase based on the caster's mana. It's a good thing Jisoo acted in time, or Winook would have really lost his life. Jisoo ordered the goblin, back off, quickly. The goblin followed Jisoo's instructions perfectly. It lowered its weapon and retreated. Jisoo was overjoyed. Whatever gesture she made, the goblin behind her would imitate exactly. I'm done, Hunter Seo, what do you think? That's my skill, taming. Ghost and Vaughn were quite impressed that girl she's using a control. Skill? I heard those are very rare. When you consider the support of a familiar, that skill seems to be high-ranked. It looks quite promising. As for Frey, being the glutton she is, she finally found something worth eating. I want that. Let's make a deal. Hurry up, chew her up, food! Seo, who had been sitting on the ground watching all this time, finally spoke up. It's interesting, sure, but now that you've controlled just one monster, what do you plan to do next? Jisoo had forgotten that there was an entire pack of goblins around, not just one. She rushed over and shook. The unconscious Winook hard! They're coming, wake up already! Jisoo screamed in terror with a truly desperate voice. Somebody help me! Her voice echoed throughout the place.